about 90 days is normally what I give the average person that really wants to discover their voice. And the reason is because I have to break down any old habits and rebuild new habits. And we are creatures of habit. And lots of times it takes a little bit for us to kind of to learn new things, even with speaking too. It's not just with singing. I mean, as a speaker, they're old habits. They're just bad habits that you may have as a speaker.
An example.
For example, speaking hard, right? And just going in. Or, for example...
But in the defense of that, sometimes that's one of the things that will help you get your point across with passion, because people can feel you when you're really going in.
Absolutely. So what I teach you is not to lose the passion, but to now add passion with technique. Because the thing about it is that if you add that passion, you utilize the breath support, it allows your voice to project so you don't have to go so hard. You see what I'm saying? Also, you have to know when to have periods of what we call inflection. So when you go up with your voice, when you come down with your voice, that helps a lot. Also, a good microphone helps too. Because what I see a lot of speakers have is that we use the wrong mics at times, right? So this is a podcast mic, it picks up. Yeah. But when you're doing masterminds or you're doing workshops, you can use a lapel mic. You need to make sure that lapel mic is not here where it's so far away that it's not projecting your voice, because a lot of these mics are one directional, which means that you have to sing or speak directly inside of the mic for your voice to pick up. So if you still want to do the passion, you don't have to work so hard if you also have a good mic that works with it as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Marvin Sapp's voice? Because he has a scratchy, Kelly, I'm sorry, that was Neil. Marvin Sapp has a raspy voice.
Yeah.
But he sings good.
He does. But you want to know the truth?
Yes.
A lot of people out here have vocal problems that they don't want to tell anybody about, because obviously if people know that they have vocal problems, they won't get called for a gig. There's a lot of singers out here that are living gig by gig to gig, paycheck to paycheck. And the truth of the matter is a lot of these singers have come through and they look for a quick fix. And even speakers, Marvin Sapp is not just a singer, he's a speaker, he's a pastor. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And we have a lot of pastors now doing podcasts. We have a lot of pastors that are now doing a lot of different things like masterminds and stuff like that. They cannot even get through sermons to even brand on radio stations anymore. Wow. And so as a result of that, you have so many of them going through vocal issues right now, but it's almost like they have vocal shame, because you cannot out there and say, oh, I have nodules or polyps or, all of these major things that's happening with the voice.
Gotcha. Attention coaches, consultants, course creators. If you get paid based off your knowledge, I'm going to tell you something very, very important, okay? What if I could teach you how to make extra 5 to 6 figures every single month using simple Facebook and Instagram ads, all right? Let me tell you about my boy. He got the paid ad playbook. Listen, this paid ad playbook is going to give it to you for free, first off. Marquel Russell, one of the most genuine people I've ever met, he's created over $500 million in client revenue using the paid ad playbook strategy, all right? So listen, go to socialproofgift.com or text proof to 904-447-5274. If you want to get 50 to 100 new client leads every day that actually convert, you need to go to socialproofgift.com or text proof to 904-447-5274. And he's going to give you a bonus video that helps you with a strategy to customize your particular strategy for your particular business. All right? Again, socialproofgift.com, text proof to 904-447-5274. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we find dope people that did really, really dope stuff. And you are the person not only doing something amazing, but you support the people who do something amazing.
Absolutely.
And so I'll have you kind of share what you do, because you're a vocal coach, right?
Not just a vocal coach.
Not just a vocal coach?
No.
I thought you helped with the vocal. So a vocal is singing, not just your voice. Okay, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I am the person that most speakers and singers never knew they needed. I am a celebrity vocal coach, but I also concentrate in, this is fancy.
Okay.
All right, it's called pedagogy performance. All right, a performance pedagogy, which is just a simple term of saying techniques, right? And I literally help high performing speakers like yourself, singers secure the bag, secure the gig without losing their voice. And so,
I'm sorry, real quick. When you say secure the gig without losing
yeah,
your voice, what do you mean?
yeah, because think about it. Okay, let's math it, right? So you have something coming up soon, right? What do you have coming up soon?
We have the morning meetup. It'll be about 400 or 500 people there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you probably have challenges, masterminds, things like that, right?
Yeah. So it's like a conference. So I'll be kind of teaching and bringing people in. Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to math it really quickly, let's say you have 400 people come in, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you want to reach a certain goal, a number goal
Yes.
of what you want to reach, right? So put a number out there. What's the goal you'd like to reach without giving the goal?
People or financial?
Financially.
Oh, well, talking about like for the year?
Not well, just for whatever you're getting ready to do.
Well, okay, so this one isn't, I'm not charging them. They're just already a part of my
Okay.
community.
Let's talk if you were charging somebody right now for a challenge or charging somebody
Okay.
for a mastermind or charging
$1 million.
Okay, $1 million.
Mm.
All right. So what if one day you just woke up and you no longer had your voice?
Mm.
And the thing about it is that no one really thinks about the value of their voice until it's gone.
Yeah.
The one thing we all have in common, everybody that's born in this world, is that we were born not just with the brain, which is our asset, our mind, but our voice is an asset too. As a matter of fact, I can shut my eyes, you can speak, and everyone will know it's David Shan's voice.
Mm.
Because your voice within itself carries a tone, right? That is marketable, that monetizes even without seeing you. Yeah. So every single time you come and you sit here, you say, hey, it's David Shan's, that within itself is voice equity.
That's real. I went to what's that store? Dillard's. Oh, that's why I was in Dillard's, but it was where was I? I was somewhere, and I asked the lady something. I was asking, where can I get a button-up shirt? I think I need a shirt for an event or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like looking down. She looked up. She's like, oh, and she's like, I just knew your voice. And this was maybe like a few months ago. And I said, wow, I have a recognizable voice.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
You have a recognizable voice. You have a brand equity building voice. You have a poverty breaking voice.
Here's what's crazy. Ever since we sat down and started the conversation, I feel like something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if my voice scratchy or is it sore?
Yeah, it is scratchy.
I never noticed.
Yeah. Most people don't. That's the thing. So I see you drinking water right now. I'm not going to ask you what brand water you're drinking, right?
Regular.
But even down to the brand of water you're drinking matters, right? And just so that you know, you drinking that bottle of water right now is doing nothing to your vocal folds.
It doesn't
even touch your vocal folds. It's not even physiologically possible.
Really? Okay, real quick scenario. So I drink I drink really, really good water, but let's just say Deer Park or Nestle.
Let's just say Deer Park and Nestle. So it's important for you to know the pH of the actual brand of water.
Really?
Yeah. I brought my friend here today, who's also my business partner, but he was a client of mine. And when he came to me, he was very healthy, everything like that. But he was just like, Shayla, I have something going on with my voice. I don't know what it is. And I said, well, what type of water are you drinking? Come to find out, he was drinking water that was acidic.
Really?
Right? Yeah. That literally started to cause acid pockets burning at his throat. Okay. So we had to reroute the way he drinks water, the way he eats, everything like that. And so it's important for you to know that. Why? Because can I get a little nerdy on you?
Please.
Okay.
Hold on. So the type of water I drink creates acid pockets.
If not careful, what it does is
because the water I'm drinking don't have no pH. It was my wife.
pH.
I know my wife. She just gets she'll just get the 24 pack of water, and I think she just picks a water. Like we don't. I do the same thing, right?
Okay. Let's reroute how we do this, right? Your stomach pH alone is between a 1 and a 3.5, right? And the reason for that is because that's what helps break down, foods and stuff in the body. But if you are drinking like sodas and coffee and lemon and, all of these things that are high in acid, what it's doing is it's causing acid reflux, which is like your stomach is like a volcano going. Mm. And when you're sleeping at night, especially if you sleep on your left side, your stomach is upside down. So what's happening is...
I sleep on my left?
Yeah, if you sleep on your left side. So when you wake up and you're like, yo, what's going on with my voice? It's because all that acid, when you're sleeping, is coming up through what we call your esophagus. And because you're not swallowing at night, it goes right into your voice box and burns away at the throat and burns away at the vocal cords. So when you wake up every day and you're just like, yo, what's going on with my voice? How come I can't speak? Like, why am I losing my voice in the morning meetup, right? And you're drinking that tea is not doing anything for you because the acid has already eaten away at your voice.
Does it repair itself?
Okay, yes, but you have to do the work to do that, right? Which means that you have to watch, one, your stress levels, all right? Because people don't know. And a lot of
stress affects my voice.
Your stress affects your voice in multiple ways. In multiple ways. First thing is it actually spikes acid reflux, which, okay, this is a really big word, which forms something called laryngopharyngeal reflux, which is acid reflux in the actual voice box, right?
It's laryngopharyngeal reflux. Don't worry about it. It's called LPR.
Okay. Right? Now, what that does is when you get a sore throat in the morning, you're wondering why you have a sore throat or why your voice is scratchy or why you have a nasal drip, a post-nasal drip, all that could be acid reflux. Or if you're like scratching the back of your throat or you keep clearing your throat all the time or you keep coughing all the time, all those things could be signs of LPR.
I want to clear my throat so bad right now, but
yeah, and the average speaker never thinks about that. And then stress. Let's talk about stress because stress also spikes the acid levels right in your body that can actually lead to hoarseness and muscle tension around the vocal cords. So when you're just like, yo, I feel like a ring is around my throat or I feel like my neck is tight. Yeah, all of those things can be contributed because of stress as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know.
Okay, so first step, what type of water should I be drinking? Because Joe is trying to kill me. I would have never bought this water.
Joe is trying to kill you.
You feeding me Nestle, bro? This is a professional podcast.
So I would say anything that's a 7.4 pH and higher.
7.4 pH and higher.
Yeah. And the reason is because 7 is neutral, up 8 to 14 is alkali. Anything 6 and below is acid, right? So your blood pH alone is between like a 7.4 and a 7.8, right? So, but your urine pH is between like a 6.5 and an 8. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting in your body, it's not just the water, but everything else that contributes around it as well. All right.
Gotcha. But I can start with good water.
You can start with good water. So
is there a such thing as like a pH being too high of a water?
Yes. You don't want to go too high, but what I would say is, and I'll say this to you and any other high performing speaker out there who does a podcast, media, sports correspondent, whoever you are, you can go to Whole Foods and just ask for pH strips. Use the pH strips, when you use the bathroom, all right, to do number one. And you can actually see what your pH levels are looking like on the inside. And the truth of the matter is most of us that are ethnic, like African-American, Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbean, a lot of us are dying from debilitating diseases because of our acid levels spiking in our body. We are not supposed to be acid prone. All right.
You one of them vegans?
No, I'm not a vegan at all.
It's talk like a true vegan.
I'm not a vegan, but I see this all the time because I have so many speakers and singers come to me with like serious issues. And hoarseness is not a disease, but it's a sign of many different things. You see what I'm saying? So when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm just hoarse, and you just keep going through your day, you have to understand that your vocal cords have no pain receptors.
So I can't feel when it's
your vocal cords have no pain receptors. It has no nerve endings. So by the time you're like, yo, something's going on my voice, or your voice gets scratchy or almost gone, you could have done substantial amounts of damage to your vocals and don't even know it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Golly.
You could have. And that's why, like for me, I share about, the vocal blueprint, the vocal hacks that every speaker should know, because at the end of the day, there are at least 7 things you need to know as a speaker.
Let's go through those 7.
Yeah. So the first things first is I'm going to ask you this. You have insurance on your voice?
No.
That's number 1.
I have insurance on my voice.
Absolutamente. If J-Lo could insure her butt, Tina Turner could insure her legs, David Shands needs to insure his voice.
So how does that work as the insurance on your...
Well, we're gonna work that out. We could definitely come to me. So what I'm doing is I work with an actual affiliate, insurance company, a brokerage that actually works with entertainers and speakers, high-end speakers. And through my company, we actually help to ensure.
Can you give me an example of like some real numbers?
Absolutely. So for example, for you, let's say for you, you might want to insure your voice for about maybe $2 million, $3 million, right? Because you have to think about it. If you go to an event, let's say you have a major event, and let's say you're being, somebody's charging you $200,000 to speak at this event, right? And let's say over the course of that $200,000 or that event, you make in the back end from that event $2-3 million. But let's say you wake up one day, you had mold toxicity in your hotel room, and your voice goes. And speakers never think about things like that. Mold toxicity is a number one killer of the voice. And it happens so much when we're in planes and hotels, in our homes. So you wake up, you have no voice. And David Shand has to go out on that stage and deliver with no voice. What can happen is, depending on the contract that you sign with whomever that you did and contracted with, they can either sue you, ask you for the money back. You got to get back your deposit. And no one ever thinks about, how do I cover myself just in case something happens where my voice doesn't show up?
Wow. Does everybody offer this, or
no?
Just you?
Not just me. There's people that offer it, but there's a lot of people that are not knowledgeable of it. Yeah. And so that's where I come in, because for me, one, I'm trusted. Number two, I work with a lot of speakers and singers. I'm knowledgeable in what I do. And so at the end of the day, why not have a vocal health expert say, hey, listen, I'm working with you. I need you to get your voice insured, because when you come to me and you have no voice, but you have a show, or you have a performance, or you have a TED Talks coming up, or you have a major podcast to do, or you have to interview a big person, you got to make sure that your best voice shows up in that room.
That is a fact. Somebody said, so we were just talking about it on another episode. So I did this event called Social Proof 7.
Yep.
And this was a real estate panel. So one guy, Eddie, has 5,000 properties.
My God.
Another guy, A. Donahue Baker, he's got like 400 or 500 units. And he said something that just changed my life.
Yeah.
He said, you were there, right? He said, and some of you remember this, he said, if I could walk away from my business today for a year and come back a year later, and my income will be the exact same.
Wow. Wow.
I said, yo, I can't do that.
Well, yes, you can. Because what you're doing is you're leaving an imprint and a legacy with your voice.
Right. But so even all the content that I create, it's not like I could leave for a year and I'm not going to be homeless. Right.
Right.
But it'll dip. Right. If you don't have no clients, you can't. Right.
Absolutely.
But I was like, yo, this conversation actually just kind of ties in. One, I need to buy more real estate, because you need to build something that's not around your brand. But that's a scary thing if you don't have that set up, and it's based on you having something valuable to say, which in our head, I'll always be able to perform. Yeah. But sometimes physically, it's not something that you chose not to be able to speak. You just can't.
Right. You just can't. And a lot of people just never think about it. So, one of those things, having voice insurance. Another thing I'll ask you, when you start these podcasts, you see how your voice is scratchy and stuff like that? Do you even warm up your voice?
No. I talk to Joe a little bit. We talk a little bit.
Nah, you a vocal athlete. And at the end of the day, when Kobe, we talk about the, Mamba experience, or when LeBron gets on that, before the coach even comes, they're stretching. They're free throwing. They're doing stuff. We use our vocal folds so much, like overuse of it, but we never think of stretching the muscles.
All right. So how do I stretch my vocal muscles?
Absolutely. So something fun. I tried this at a mastermind actually in Puerto Rico recently with the Circle of Greatness. But little things like lip trills, right? Lip trills, lip trills.
Wasn't that a song by Nelly?
No.
Okay, I got you. I'm bugging.
Yeah.
It wasn't lip drill. You need a lip drill. All right, okay.
But lip trills is literally like, putting your lips together.
Lip trills.
And going all the way up.
Hold on.
All the way up,
hold
right?
On, hold on. Coach me real quick.
Breathe. Okay, so breathe through your nostril. Sit up straight. Breathe through your nostril.
Hold on, I had some postnasal drip.
Yeah, that's that acid.
Hold on, because this ain't going to help me, though.
Go ahead and drink it. It'll clear your throat.
I'm thirsty, but I don't want to drink it in front of you.
No, go ahead and drink it. It's fine. You got to make sure that you do lubricate. And just to let you know, you have to drink water so that your body within itself can produce watery mucus.
Okay.
right? So what you're going to do, you sit up, breathe through your nostril, and you can do this in the shower. You could do this at home. You could do this in the car. All right. It don't got to be perfect.
Okay.
All right. You start low, the lowest of your voice, and just go.
I for sure have to get in the car. So we got to do that. I'm not about to be right here like, hey, guys, we're going to start the show, but hold on. What's up with you? All right, so, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Try it. Go.
You try it, Joe. You laughing hard. Yeah. Okay.
Listen. All the way up.
I can't.
Yeah. Okay, so if you can't do that, that's fine. If you have a coffee straw, don't drink coffee because coffee is dehydrating, right? But if you have a coffee straw.
You got a coffee straw over there?
All right, you can get a small coffee straw and you can do the same thing. Because what it's doing is putting pressure back into your voice box. And
you're
pressure,
blowing out of the straw?
Yeah, you literally like almost, it's not humming, but you're literally like singing into the straw. So I can demonstrate for you. But you're not a singer, right? So you're doing something called inflections, all right? Because you're not a singer, all right? Unless you sing in the shower or something like that. All right, absolutely. Thank you. So what you do is the smaller the hole here, the greater the resistance. Right. And the reason why you're doing it is because this is an exercise that relaxes the muscles of your vocal cords so that when you start doing your pockets, you can do it. So you just go.
Oh, so I'm not blowing out of it.
Yeah, you're blowing into it, but no, not humming, but you're blowing. And you'll feel the pressure. Right. You'll feel the pressure circulating back in. If you do it properly, you'll feel the pressure circulating back into your voice box. Let's do it again. There you go. There you go. Yeah. And if you do it,
how do you get so high?
Well, I'm a female voice, by the way, but you can as go as high you can. All right. Make sure no air comes out your nostril and then do it from the top all the way back down again. Yep. And if you do that about maybe 5 to 10 minutes every day, what it does, you'll see how it makes a difference in your voice. Even as a speaker, absolutely. You have to be able to stretch the muscle because that's like getting in a car and starting it off and don't warm the car up. You see what I'm saying? And what you're doing is when you speak, like literally, you're slamming your folds together violently. And that's how a lot of speakers end up getting things like blood on their vocal folds and nodules and bumps and all kinds of stuff on their vocal folds. It's not just hoarseness. You see what I'm saying?
But I want to try the little thing because I feel like I could do it.
So what you got to do is you got to make sure that you breathe because the breath is really the secret sauce to it. So you got to fill in and use the air from your lungs and allow the air to come up through your trachea, your windpipe, and out.
That is impressive. Yeah. Try it, Joe. It's harder than it thinks. It's harder than it looks. Try it. Try it real quick. Let's see you.
Try it. There you go. Exactly.
Oh, he's good at it. Now, that's a fancy.
Yeah. Do it.
If he could do it, I could do it. You did this before or no? I can't. I don't know why my lips don't come together when it gets to a certain height. Is that like something wrong? Is that a weakness in my voice?
No, it's just something that you have to practice, but also it requires air pressure. So the more air pressure you have coming up through your trachea, the more it allows the lips to actually move and vibrate and together.
He has more pressure than me?
Yes, he's utilizing a lot more pressure than you. And I think you're overthinking it as well.
Maybe. I'm going to try it in the car though.
But you could also take that same straw, put it in your bottle. Mm-hmm. Yep. Put it right in that bottle.
Just one of them?
Yeah, one is fine. All right.
All the way in?
Yeah.
Like drop it?
No. Like, so it reaches the water.
Okay.
So yeah, make it reach the water. You could do the same thing. So put the bottle up and you'll see the bubbles go through it and go all the way up. All the way up. But actually give a sound though. Like same thing you were doing. It's what we call siren.
All the way in the water?
Yeah, just the tip of the water. Yeah. Right? So you see you get the bubbles. There you go. There you go. That's also no. Keep the straw in.
Keep it in there. Okay.
Yeah, keep the straw in and go all the way up. There you go. Now what you should feel is air circulating back here, which I can see. That relaxes the muscles around your vocal cords.
That's crazy because I do feel the pressure.
Exactly. So that is what we call straw phonation. All right. It's a fancy word in the vocal professional world.
It actually feels good.
Yeah. It's going to feel really good. And you're going to see how your voice is really going to be a lot more awake in the morning, especially because you have
Wow.
8 a.m. Meetups and stuff like
Mhm.
that. You're going to see how your voice, especially for when it's time for you to speak for long periods of time, this is going to work for you.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. That's dope. Okay, so 1 was insurance. 2 was stretching your voice.
Absolutely.
What's 3? Because we got 7 of them, right?
The third one is you need to make sure, as you have a dentist, you need to have an ear, nose, and throat doctor on your team.
That I think I need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of high-performing speakers and singers never think about that. As a matter of fact, your ear, nose, and throat doctor, what we call ENT, should be on speed dial. Because if you use your voice as it's your money, this is your money, this is your real estate. Yeah. So if you're using your voice all the time, just like how you have cavities that happens on your voice, on your teeth, you're using your voice, you're high-performing using your voice, and ear, nose, and throat doctor needs to be on your roster.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
So do they help me with... Are they the ones that's helping me do the exercises, or are they going there when there's a problem?
So no, the ENTs really actually take something, it's called a laryngoscopy, and they take it down your nostril. It may seem a little weird, but they take it down your nostril, a really thin tube. And so they can actually see your vocal cords, because you can't see your vocal cords with the natural eye. All right. So you actually need something to go down there.
Can they put you to sleep?
No.
I couldn't do it.
Yes, you can.
Them tests, I'd be like... Yeah, I'll never let them get all the way in there. You know what I mean? So
yes, you can. You can do it. Or sometimes they can just do it through the mouth. You don't have to do it through the nose, okay? And it's not that bad doing it through the mouth. And they just put their lip down with a little light, and you'll be able to see your vocal cords, and they'll be able to tell you, especially like if you're always feeling hoarse and fatigued all the time after you speak, it may be signs of other things, right? So they will be able to tell you, hey, you're having
I do be fatigued after I speak.
Right.
Especially when I go in.
Yeah. So you could be doing a lot of strain on those folds. All right. And so the ear, nose, and throat doctor will actually tell you if you need surgery, if you don't need surgery, or it will send you to somebody like myself, which is the next step. You need to have an actual vocal health coach on your team.
Got you.
Right?
Okay. So you are the vocal health coach. Is there a lot of Black people in this?
There's a lot of people that are voice teachers. I don't know if there's a lot of people that do what I do, because I'm almost like a speech language pathologist and a vocal coach in one. The only thing is that my speech language pathologist friends or my network, they're similar to ear, nose, and throat doctors, but they specialize in speech and voice rehabilitation and things like that. So let's say, if, God forbid, someone had a stroke, they would go to a speech language pathologist that would help them to work on their speech and kind of strengthen their vocal cords again. Right.
Gotcha. So who are some of the people? Because you came here with Q.
Yeah.
You work with him?
Yes. I work with Q. I work with, I work with Erica Campbell from Mary.
Okay.
Yes. I've worked with a lot of singers in the gospel arena. I give Neo advice on vocal coaching as well. I've worked with a lot of artists in the Latin world. I don't know. I work specifically with Universal and Sony.
Gotcha.
Latin. And so a lot of their clients come through my institute. So I've worked with so many people.
That's fire. Okay.
Yes.
Give me a scenario that you remember or that you could think of, and maybe you are involved or maybe you're not, where someone that really uses their voice lost it.
Absolutely. So I'll give you a couple scenarios. I had one young lady who ended up having tongue cancer. Yeah. Yeah, she came into my office. She had tongue cancer. They had to remove her tongue and create an artificial tongue with grafts through her foreskin and inside of her thigh and recreate a tongue again. But because she was not speaking, her vocal folds became weak. As a result of that, we had to do rehabilitation and restoration to get her vocal folds together. I had another
Hold
client.
on, what the heck is tongue cancer?
Tongue cancer is a thing.
How did she get it? So hookah, wasn't it?
So you can get tongue cancer from alcohol use. In her case, it was heavy drugs. Oh. Yes, it was heavy drugs, cocaine. As a result of that, and so she ended up receiving, tongue cancer. And if not caught, it would have spread to her neck and throat, which can cause vocal cancer, which will actually go into your voice box and actually land and grow on top of the actual vocal cords.
Goodness gracious.
And we have a lot of smokers that go through that. So that's one incident. I had another client of mine who had a brain tumor in the back of her brain that was actually sitting on her cerebellum. And that's the area that deals with fine muscle control. So I think a lot of people have this misconception that vocal problems only happen for speakers and singers based on what you do in performance, right? But no, there's a lot of other things that can happen, like COVID. Yeah. Right? Right now I have about 3 clients that are dealing with COVID voice. Have you ever heard of that?
COVID voice.
COVID voice. So COVID voice happens as the after effects of COVID. And what happens is the vocal cords get so tense because there's not enough air that's coming up to the vocal cords. You need air in order for you to speak. As a matter of fact, really quickly, try to breathe in and say your name at the same time. You can't do it.
I did say it a little bit.
No, you cannot breathe in and speak at the same time. You have to either do one or the other. It can't happen together.
You didn't hear that though?
You did.
Yeah, I'm a special case.
If you put your hand like this, put your hand like that and say it. Go.
Amen.
What'd you feel? You felt air, right?
Amen.
You felt air.
I don't know. No, I don't think I felt on air. I'm special. But
just physiologically, you cannot breathe in and speak at the same time. You need air in order to produce sound. So COVID voice is something that has happened. And even back with this young lady having this brain tumor, it causes the fine muscle control to go out of whack, and her vocal cords became semi-paralyzed as a result of it. I have, cases of so many people. I have a case of a client that has lupus. All right. And as a result of that, lupus weakens the folds. And so it's been really difficult for one of my clients to go through that because the body just goes through changes. Gotcha. Your vocal cords go through changes as you go through life. So even when it comes to things like depression and anxiety, the vocal cords actually feel that.
Yeah. Who do you think really needs your help? In terms of like somebody that, like a celebrity, like where they used to be.
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble.
They might reach out to you. So for instance, I think I heard Cisco one time and it ain't hit the way it used to hit. You feel me? But that just comes with age, right?
It comes with age, but it comes with abuse. We abuse our folks. Okay, so I'll give you one, and this is my brother, so I can say it. So I saw E.T. the other day, right? And so E.T. is like, Shayla, man, I need you. Now, E.T. goes hard. All right? But what's happening is that if not taken care of immediately, that can actually cause issues. Now, that has sort of kind of become a part of his brand, but it's almost to a detriment. You know what I mean? Now, he knows this because I've said this to him. So it's nothing that he doesn't know. So I would say that's definitely a person that I know because of the fact that he's a high-performing speaker.
Sure.
And he's probably the number one motivational speaker right now in the world, if not in the top 3, he's definitely a person.
Speaking of which, what do you think about Tony Robbins' voice? He has like a really scratchy voice.
Yes.
Was it always like that, or did it?
No, all rasp is not good rasp. All rasp is not.
Was he like that before? I don't know.
I would have to go back and listen to like.
I'm gonna listen to some. Yeah,
I have to go back and listen to
old school,
like young Tony Robbins to kind of like see.
I'm gonna pull it up because I want to see because he has a raspy voice.
Yeah.
So does like Jadakiss.
Yes.
He has but is that are some raspy is just natural, right?
Yes and no. Some rasp or most rasp is usually because of what we call maladaptive behaviors. All right. Maladaptive behaviors, bad habits.
Hold on.
Bad
Young
habits.
Tony Robbins.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, my man looks crazy, by the way. This is crazy. All right. Well,
what if you could make a full-time living online, getting paid for your advice? You might not know this, but the number one key to all success.
Let's see.
A man without a goal is like a ship without a rudder. You both end up on the rocks. Kind of corny, but true. I thought that is it. The number one key to success is goal setting.
So you know this is not as
It's
raspy.
it's not as raspy.
Right.
Let's listen to some like new recent Tony. So Tony, y'all, you might want to holler at her. You know what I mean? Shay got you. Oh, what the heck?
How many of you know somebody who's always pissed off about something?
Yeah.
How many of you know somebody?
So that's just his voice changing over time?
Yes, and the voice ages.
Due to it, is it the voice changing over time due to abuse or it's just age?
Both. It's not just one or the other. That's a loaded question because you have so many different variables that actually do that. So in my I have a masterclass that I teach, right? 12-week accelerator. And what I do in that masterclass is I teach about, it's not just about one or two things. People can actually damage your voice because of lack of hydration, stress, lack of sleep. All right. Now we had this
team. You gotta emphasize that.
Yeah.
Like,
because you were one-time team no sleep. Remember, sleep is for suckers, right?
For sure.
So at the end of the day, what happens is that when you're not getting the adequate amounts of sleep as a high-performance speaker, as a Tony Robbins, or as a David Shands, or as a E.T., what happens is that all plays a toll on your voice. Then you have things like stress, not just physical stress, emotional stress, mental health stressors, negative coping mechanisms. All right. So alcohol, hard drugs, smoking, prescribed medications, inhalants, food disorders, food addictions. All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All those things affect the voice. Other health related issues. So if you deal with allergies, sinus, bronchitis, COVID, the common cold, the flu, you know what I mean? All of those things, hormonal changes. If you're taking steroids, right? You're working out. All those things can affect the voice, and age does it as well.
Gotcha. So off subject. Well, it's still on subject. Could you teach me how to sing?
I can. Would you sing something right now?
Okay, this cue is here. Girl, when I tell you I love you.
Oh my.
That doesn't mean that I'm gonna cheat on you.
I don't think that's the words. Is that the words?
Yes, it is the words. Those are the words.
So what you do, right? I can teach you how to sing. What you first have to do is posture. So you have to sit up a little bit. All right.
It was my posture making me sound like that. So.
Second of all, we got to make sure that your voice is hitting the right key. It's just like finding the right shoe size for you, right?
Okay.
So your voice needs the right, what we say, voice like song size, or what we call key signature, right? So let's bring it down a little bit more. Like, girl, if I tell you,
I love you. That doesn't mean that I'm
not that low.
I'm gonna never do. See, I went high.
You went high again.
Okay.
So I'll have to do ear training, like make sure that you're not going off pitch. You know, but I can teach you. Absolutely.
Why can I sing 10 times better in the shower than I can right now?
Because no one's listening. And I think that's just your confidence and all the serotonin just releasing in your brain.
But my voice is definitely better.
Or it could be, do you take hot showers?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so what's happening is the steam is hitting your vocal cords and it's actually lubricating the voice box and it's causing the vocal cords to be more relaxed and to stretch so that you can hit certain notes. That's why.
Let me get water real quick. So I really want to show you how good I am. Hold on. I really would. Nah, because I'm not. I'm not a professional singer, but you know. Cupid. Okay, let's start here. Let's start with Cupid.
Cupid.
Cupid doesn't lie. But
all right, so you probably may need to join my accelerator, okay?
But you can teach me how to sing.
I can. With a lot of time and patience, yes.
You might not need that much time because I'm already like kind of advanced. How would you start?
So the first thing we would do is I would teach you about the importance of engaging your diaphragm, right? because your diaphragmatic muscle is not in your stomach. It's actually a dome-shaped muscle that separates your chest cavity from your stomach. So it's used to help the lungs kind of inhale and exhale. And I would start with that first because you need to make sure that you have support to hit those notes so you can get up there. The second thing is I will teach you how to not sing so hard in your with your voice. All right. Because you kind of just go hard and you go in.
But I sing with passion.
All right.
Sing with passion.
And when you hit those high notes, if you heard in Q, he goes into something called his head voice. So it doesn't mean, do that for me, go. And do your hand like this, like gesture. Go. Do your hand up. Go.
Mean.
Yeah. So let's take it up there a little bit more.
Did you catch that note though?
It doesn't. You got to take it up a little bit more. It doesn't. It
doesn't mean.
We're gonna work on it. We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll set up a 101 and work on it.
But any voice you can train to be able to sing good.
To sing. Now there are some people that are challenged. All right, tone deaf. But what I have to do is
meaning they can't hear themselves.
They can't hear themselves to know when they're off pitch. So I have to do other things like colors, which is a neurological thing that I do with singers and speakers. For those that want to sing, I teach them on colors or emotions, and that helps a lot. I also teach on numbers, believe it or not, because music is math, right? And so I teach on an 8-number scale that actually helps singers to identify tones. And then once we can do that, your brain starts to calculate it a little bit differently. So I can definitely, because you seem like a person that will excel a lot with numbers.
I want to sing to my wife and impress her.
Let's do that. Let's work on it.
How long do you think it'll take me to really be able to get a note?
Yeah, so I would say I have a program. It's the Vocal Accelerator program. It's about 90 days, so about 3 months.
Really?
Yeah. I can teach you how to sing in 90 days. Y'all want to do it?
You want to take it? Can you sing already though? Everybody can do a little something. Everybody feel like they can do a little something. Oh, over, bro. You won't be single no more.
Oh, absolutely not.
So about 90 days is normally what I give the average person that really wants to discover their voice. And the reason is because I have to break down any old habits and rebuild new habits. And we are creatures of habit. And lots of times it takes a little bit for us to kind of to learn new things, even with speaking too. It's not just with singing. I mean, as a speaker, they're old habits. They're just bad habits that you may have as a speaker.
An example.
For example, speaking hard, right? And just going in. Or, for example...
But in the defense of that, sometimes that's one of the things that will help you get your point across with passion, because people can feel you when you're really going in.
Absolutely. So what I teach you is not to lose the passion, but to now add passion with technique. Because the thing about it is that if you add that passion, you utilize the breath support, it allows your voice to project so you don't have to go so hard. You see what I'm saying? Also, you have to know when to have periods of what we call inflection. So when you go up with your voice, when you come down with your voice, that helps a lot. Also, a good microphone helps too.
I want to invite you to pick my brain.
Mine too.
Yours too?
Mine too.
Yours too. Okay, you guys. We are so excited because we just dropped our newest podcast series called the Brain Picker Podcast. David.
Oh, it's going down. You get to pick our brain. You have a business idea, a concept. You're stuck. You can't get off the ground. You need the advice of seasoned, experienced entrepreneurs. Not only entrepreneurs that are practitioners, but we got a lot of people that we've been coaching all over the last decade.
All over the globe.
That got receipts.
Not just that, you never know where your next investor might be hanging out. And the word on the street is we got all the connections.
That's a big fact.
We got all the connections. So if you want to sit down with us and pick our brains.
In front of our audience.
And we're letting you pick our brains. We won't even talk bad about you for doing it in front of our audience. Bring your business maximum exposure. Find the link somewhere around here, wherever you see it.
It's there.
And apply
right now
to pick our brain.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Because what I see a lot of speakers have is that we use the wrong mics at times, right? So this is a podcast mic. It picks up. Yeah. But when you're doing masterminds or you're doing workshops, you can use a lapel mic. You need to make sure that lapel mic is not here where it's so far away that it's not projecting your voice, because a lot of these mics are one directional, which means that you have to sing or speak directly inside of the mic for your voice to pick up. So if you still want to do the passion, you don't have to work so hard if you also have a good mic that works with it as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Marvin Sapp's voice? Because he has a scratchy Joey, Kelly, I'm sorry, that was Neil. Marvin Sapp has a raspy voice.
Yeah.
But he sings good.
He does. But you want to know the truth?
Yes.
A lot of people out here have vocal problems that know that they don't want to tell anybody about, because obviously if people know that they have vocal problems, they won't get called for a gig. There's a lot of singers out here that are living gig by gig, gig to gig, paycheck to paycheck. And the truth of the matter is a lot of these singers have come through and they look for a quick fix. And even speakers, Marvin Sapp is not just a singer, he's a speaker, he's a pastor. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And we have a lot of pastors now doing podcasts. We have a lot of pastors that are now doing a lot of different things like masterminds and stuff like that. They cannot even get through sermons to even brand on radio stations anymore. Wow. And so as a result of that, you have so many of them going through vocal issues right now, but it's almost like they have vocal shame, because you cannot out there and say, oh, I have nodules or polyps or, all of these major things that's happening with the voice.
Gotcha. How did you get into this work? When did you grow up? I would imagine you grew up singing, I guess, in the church?
No.
Both
my parents were in an R&B group in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Both my parents were singers. My father passed away during COVID.
Sorry to hear that.
But my mom and my dad, they sung like that. But for me, music has always been in my blood. But I knew that I was purposed to help singers and speakers when I actually graduated from college and I got a teaching job. And when I was teaching elementary school kids, I developed nodules on my vocal folds.
Really?
I could not speak for about 6 to 8 weeks, and I went through a deep depression.
You couldn't speak at all?
Had no voice. I'm not even talking about singing. I'm just talking about speaking.
How did you get over it?
So I went to an ENT. Remember, tell you somebody you need to have on your team. Went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and at the time, I was a new teacher, so my insurance didn't kick in yet. So I didn't have insurance to get the ENT. So the ENT says to me, hey, you're going to need to pay this amount of thousands of dollars to get the nodules removed off your folds. I'm like, I have no money. I'm barely scraping just to make ends meet. And so I took my degree, went back, learned about holistic ways and how I can heal my voice without having to go under surgery. Because do you know how they actually remove stuff off your vocal folds?
Oh.
2 ways. They can either laser it off, which is radiation on the vocal cords, or they can scrape it off. Like you see how they scrape plaque off your teeth? They scrape that stuff off your vocal cords, and that can even cause scarring. So because of that, I was like, no way, I'm not doing that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not anti-surgery, but what I'm saying is that with proper holistic methods and the curriculum that I've built, I was able to rehabilitate my own self from vocal nodules.
What did you do?
So 1, I changed my diet. All right. I watched my high acid, my low acid foods, because those things were contributing to the nodules growing on my folds. The second thing I did was I had to learn how to not be so hard on my folds. So I had to learn proper utilization of my folds by breathing techniques, doing warm-ups like I showed you, learning how to use inflections with my voice, learning when to stop and rest the voice. You see what I'm saying? Getting checkups, because I wasn't getting checkups.
So you go to the ear, nose,
absolutely. Twice a year, right? And if you're doing it more and more, then I'll say 3 times a year you need to do it.
You know I do talk a lot.
You do.
And sometimes it's just, you feel like your voice is fatigued. But it's just, of course, if you go hoop, you fatigue. You don't think nothing's wrong with it.
Yeah, but here's a fact that you need to know. Your vocal folds need at least 3 to 5 days for any swelling to come down. So let's say you're going hard today, you're going hard, the next couple of days, and then you don't recover that voice. You're doing more damage to the voice. And then that's why the voice starts to get raspy. And then we ignore those signs, and then it gets worse and worse until literally you're speaking. And after 2 hours, you have no more voice. And then by that time, it could be too far gone. And then that messes with your bag. It messes with your brand. It messes with everything that you're doing.
I am scared.
No, don't be scared. That's what you got.
I would hate for that to happen.
No, but I got you. I'm gonna make sure that I equip you. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm gonna do for you. So I'm gonna give you, and everybody's watching too, I'm gonna give you a freebie. I'm gonna drop that for you.
Where?
Yes, I'm gonna give you a freebie. So I'm going to give you a whole entire list of high acid and low acid foods that I want you to start to look at, right? You're going to look and you're going to, like the same thing I did with Q, you're going to go and you're going to look at it and see what is it that I'm actually eating that's causing my voice to actually, especially because you sleep on your the left side, that you could be dealing with postnasal drip, raspiness, sore throat, vocal fatigue. And then I'm going to give you a list of low acid foods, as well as all the listeners that's listening as well. And on top of that, I'm going to give you a list of mucus enhancing and mucus eliminating foods. Ask me why.
Why?
Because too much mucus in the body is not good. Right?
I can feel that.
And that leads to something called histamine. Histamine is what's causing inflammation and infection in your body.
I heard of an antihistamine blocker.
Right.
What was that? Where did I hear that at? Antihistamine, huh? TV somewhere. So that's what they're talking about, an antihistamine.
Yeah, but most antihistamine, and most antihistamines though are decongestants, and most of those decongestants like Zyrtec and Claritin and Mucinex are dehydrating. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful, because lots of times what they do is they are eliminating mucus, but they start to eliminate good mucus. And there's good mucus in your body. Your saliva has it. Your blood has it. You know what I mean? All of that has it, and it's used as a cleanser for your sinus ducts. So you have to be moderate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you access to that, and I'm going to give all your listeners access to it by just texting the word freebie to 786-613-4217.
That's dope, man. I really appreciate you are doing the work.
Thank you.
Especially because we're in and I think you are a hot brand. You are a hot topic, because everyone's building their brand. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And everyone's, I think, I don't know the stats, but I would imagine that people talk much more than they used to, just as a whole.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, what we're finding at this during this pandemic right now, that obviously online courses has risen, podcasts have risen.
For sure.
So there's a lot of people now that are starting podcasts, they're doing online courses, IG lives, webinars, all those things have increased. And of course, I've never seen a person mime a webinar. You know what I mean? Or mime a podcast. Imagine if you mime a podcast. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's increasing. And that's why I am definitely needed. That's why this subject is definitely something that is overlooked, but people don't even realize that it's needed. That's why I always say, I am the person you never knew you needed.
Yeah. And it's, again, it really gives me two thoughts. One, I need to take care of my voice. Yeah. Two, I need to not be so reliant on me saying something cool to make money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in that space.
Yeah.
So you work with people in what capacity? Is it like you come to me and we go through the like, are we going to do that together?
I had Neo try to do it.
Can you do it?
Neo couldn't do it at all. It was a struggle.
Joe Bride is really good at it. First time. Can you do it? All right, so look, let me educate you real quick.
But you learned one. You learned the straw.
Yes, I'm really good with that one.
Yeah.
Let me educate you real quick. So you put your mouth together and you gotta breathe out of your cerebral cortex.
Cerebral cortex.
I don't know. I think I heard you say that today. It's a vocal exercise. You don't want to try it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. But if you cannot do that, you absolutely can do.
Give me another one. You got another exercise for me?
Yeah. So there's something also called cup phonation, right? So you just get a plastic cup or like a white paper cup.
You got a cup?
A paper cup. And you just create like you get that pen and create like a little hole in it. And you just literally, you can sing, "Girl, if I told you I love you." You can sing your favorite song in there as a warm-up.
First off, real quick, did you catch that note I just hit?
I did. It was a little, but.
Thank you.
Well, if you had a paper cup, it would be better. Yeah.
It don't work?
White
it doesn't
paper.
Work in plastic?
I mean, because you're going to be like trying to get a hole in there. Not a big hole. Just remember, the smaller the hole, the greater the resistance. All right? The bigger the hole, the less the resistance.
Oh, man. That's too big of a hole.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Okay? No. Don't blow into it. Just sing. Go ahead.
Girl, if I told you
put it.
You,
okay.
That doesn't mean that I'm going to cheat on you.
Now,
I'm going to know. So what does this do for me?
So what it does is what we call SOVT exercise, right? Which means that it's SOVT just stands for semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. It's just a fancy word for semi-closed. So what it's doing is, as you're singing in that cup, the air is circulating back into your mouth, is going down into your voice box. It's meeting the air coming up from your lungs, and it's causing pressure. And that pressure starts to relax the muscles around your vocal cords so that you don't have to be going so hard when you're speaking and going so hard when you're attempting to sing.
Well, let me ask you, wearing a mask, is that helping everyone's voice?
That's a touchy subject. Okay, so no. I'm going to say no because you don't have to blow into it.
I was trying to practice while you was talking and I don't want to be singing.
You can just talk into it. Yeah, you can talk into it. Just talk regular. So, don't pout your
So tell me about this whole mask thing.
Right. So with the mask,
what is this doing again?
So that's causing pressure to go back into your voice box. It's meeting with the pressure coming up through your windpipe called subglottal pressure. And what it's doing is causing a cushioning around your vocal cords and relaxing the muscles around your vocal cords. So your muscles need to stretch in order for you to actually be vocally agile, which is just swift and your vocal folds to be flexible as a speaker so that you don't get so tired so fast.
Does breathing in and out of this do anything for my voice?
Not necessarily breathing in and out of it. It's actually when you breathe in and using the air to support your vocal cords as you speak. That's how it works.
It feels like it's working now.
It is because it's a lot of resistance. This is a very small hole.
I like this.
All right.
This is good. You are the GOAT.
Thank you.
You were about to say something before I started singing.
No. You were asking me about how, how people reach me.
Yes,
so
there's
a couple ways. I have a Voice Masters Academy, right?
Too much pressure went into my brachials.
Your what? He's like making up stuff here.
Yeah, you use bad words. You went to college?
Of course I did.
For sure, I could tell.
University of Miami, Canes. Yes. I didn't go to HBCU, unfortunately, but Canes is as close to the orange and green I'm going to get.
I feel like maybe that's why I don't know the words because I went to
He said his cerebral cortex. That was interesting.
So is it one-on-one?
So I have a couple ways in which people can work with me. So there's an ebook, all right, because not everyone can get access to me, but there's an ebook, the Vocal Blueprint, and they can go to vocalblueprint.com and get that. Also, too, I have a Voice Masters Academy. That's a group coaching program. And that's voicemastersacademy.com, where for 12 weeks, my team, I have vocal coaches that I certify under me that actually for 12 weeks go and teach groups how to utilize their voice, speakers and singers. And then I do have a one-on-one, all right, mentorship program that people that actually want to be able to reach me, they can go and they can reach me there at one-to-one, which is also a part of the Vocal Academy. And then also too, I have a one-day event, a mastermind that I do with high-performing speakers and singers. As a matter of fact, Q and I actually partner in that together.
So tell me about the thing you partner with. First of all, how you meet Q?
So
my favorite R&B group.
Really? 112? PI. No, I'm joking. So I was actually teaching in Las Vegas. I was doing a clinic. I get called and booked to do clinics for music conferences, and the Stellar Awards was happening, award show. And I was called to do a clinic for the industry, and Q was in the room. And Q came up to me. He was like, yo, I need you. And really, that's how we met.
How long was that?
That was about maybe 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And what is the program y'all partnered on?
So I have a Vocal Accelerator Masterclass that I take city to city. I did one recently in Miami on December 11th. And so we're doing another one in March 5th to be exact, here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so it's a one-day event where it's just nothing but impact and value all day. I bring in ear, nose, and throat doctors. I bring in speech language pathologists. I bring in mental health counselors to talk about the correlation between mental health and vocal health. We talk about mindset because there's a lot of people that don't like to hear the sound of their voice. They don't like, some of them are sitting on podcasts. They're sitting on audiobooks. They're sitting on albums, but because they don't like how they sound, they refuse to do it, right? They think that they need it to be perfect. So we actually teach on mindset. We also teach on purpose, and we teach about monetizing, how to use your voice to scale the 6 and 7 figures, right? So we do all of that in one day.
I forgot. What about orange juice? I love orange juice.
Orange juice is acidic, number one, because it's high in acid, and it causes mucus to build. It's phlegmy. So if you ever had orange juice, you ever notice you had like a little bit of mucus or buildup or phlegm afterwards? Yeah.
I love orange juice. What can I drink?
So
what's not acidic?
So here's the thing. Before you can do that, we need for you to do a pH levels test first.
And you said go to Whole Foods, get a little strip and pee on the strip.
You could ask for pH strips. You could definitely urinate on the strip, and that will be able to show you what your pH levels look like on the inside. And then the list that I'm going to give you and the freebie that I'm going to give out, you're going to be able to see all the high acid and low acid. So what are the drinks that are acidic? You ready for it?
No.
Pineapple juice, grapefruit juice, orange juice, lemon juice, white wine, any sports drinks. All right, Gatorade.
But it helps with your
electrolytes. But if you read the back of it, right, there's a lot of things. Now you asked me the question, right? You asked me the question. I'm just giving you the value, right? So these things are actually high in acid. All right. Now it's not to say that you can't have them, David. It's just to say that moderation is key. Do you understand?
Moderation is key. Yeah,
moderation.
Sure.
And I want everybody here listening to this podcast to understand moderation is key. All right. I'm not saying you can't, but not all voices are created equal.
Yeah.
So what somebody else may be able to do, you may not be able to do.
Solid.
You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, check out your pH levels. Make sure your stress levels stay down because all those things affect your voice as well.
Gotcha. This has been very helpful.
I'm glad.
I'm taking this with me though.
Yeah. Try the lip trills one more time.
Hold on, the lip drill. Which one? Hold on.
The same one, yeah.
Which one?
The lips.
Oh. I think I'm ready.
Breathe through your nose.
Breathe through my nose, not mine.
And the reason I'm saying breathe through your nose is because it preserves moisture in your throat. And also it allows you to do more deep breathing.
Okay.
So, now go. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
See, you got it. So you have three things. You have lip trills, you have straw phonation with the bottle, and you have cup phonation. Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
I got one question before we get out of here. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Only because I want to be able to watch this in 5 years and say, you know what? She said she was going to be doing that. Look, 5 years later. Yeah.
5 years from now, 3 years from now, let's go there. I want to do my first TED Talk. I'm not talking local. I'm talking the stage, a TED Talk.
So not
stage.
TEDx.
I want to do this stage. I want to be the go-to person that everyone comes to find out about their voice. I want to travel the world and do masterminds and clinics, educating high performance speakers and singers on the importance of preserving their voice cache and their vocal real estate. I want to see myself, more ebooks, more courses, and being able to just really push speakers and singers into their purpose.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm doing it already. So just God opening up that door and doing it more.
I love it. That is awesome. Look, man, I'm going to do a quick commercial. Then I'm going to come back to you so you can let everybody know how to find you. I'm sure we'll have some links somewhere. And think of some discounts that you can give my audience. You're giving them the freebie.
I did give them the freebie.
Something that they can go put in code social proof and they get a discount. I don't know what the discount's going to be, but whatever it's going to be. So this episode is sponsored by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com, the only organization that gathers every day for the betterment of entrepreneurs. We have a group. We get it's literally between 500 and 700 people every single morning.
Wow.
Monday through Friday.
Wow.
I'm risking my voice. I'm risking it all for my group.
Yeah, you are.
But it's really dope because we have a topic for the month. We have in every call throughout the week supports the topic for the month. And we have a book club, which is really, really awesome. So go to themorningmeetup.com. Check us out for a $1 trial. If you like it, stay. If you don't, you can leave. It's all good. But go to themorningmeetup.com. So let's close it out, man. Let everybody know how to find. I want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
1, for the freebie. 2, for allowing me to take my voice into consideration. Because that is the power. Because I can have it all up here, but if I can't say it, that's a big problem.
Yeah, so your greatest assets is here and here.
That's a fact. Yeah. So I want to say thank you on behalf of our audience, but let everybody know how to find you, and then close us out with a word of wisdom.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things. Ashaala Shanae, ASHAALASHANAE. You can find me on all social media platforms. I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to bless all your listeners with the ebook called The Vocal Blueprint, which is 7 must-have steps that every high-performance speaker and singer should know about how to ensure that bag, how to secure that gig, and make sure that they're doing that. So we want to make sure that they go to the vocalblueprint.com, and we're going to make sure we put that code in for social proof.
For sure.
So they could definitely get that. Of course, the freebie, you're going to get access to a list of high acid and low acid foods, 786-613-4217. And of course, you can find me. My company is called The Mahi, the Music and Arts Healing Institute. And that's www.themahi.com.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Close us out with a word of wisdom. Somebody watching right now that needs a word from you.
Absolutely. Which camera should I look at?
The middle one.
All right. I'm going to do Coach Kelly here. All right. So I want you to say this with me. My voice is enough. Say that.
My voice is enough.
I want you to say that, because what that does is that literally everything that you have been said to you, everything that you have thought about yourself, that your voice wasn't urgent, it wasn't necessary, every vocal insecurity, every vocal fear, every vocal anxiety, competition, comparison, all that gets eliminated based on those words right there. My voice is enough. Your voice matters. There are people, there are ears that are assigned to your voice. And the more you wait for procrastination, or the more you're thinking about perfectionism, or the more you always compare and looking at everybody else, if you're trying to sound like everybody else, who's going to be you? And so I want you to know that you have no more time to waste time. You cannot afford to be in the same position this year as you were last year. I need you to know that your voice is enough. Your voice matters. Use it. People want to hear it. And I'm here to just not confirm it. You already have confirmations. I'm just here to affirm what's already been confirmed. All right, go use your voice now.
There it is, man. Look, you can't close it out no better than that, man. Go follow Shayla right now, okay? Her Instagram is here somewhere. And also do me a favor. Okay, I got to do my close with this. Go get you some social proof, okay? Meaning go build something and then come back to your community and teach your community how to do it. We out of here. Peace.
Bye.
So most people think about their hands as an asset, their minds as an asset, but never really think about their voice as an asset. When you think about the billions of dollars that are made through the entertainment business, acting, public speaking, even podcasting, we know a top podcaster who makes $9.8 million every single month because of their voice. Well, today we're going to tell you how to protect your voice as an asset. Let's get it. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprint, the wealth, the knowledge network. Forget it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vote and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vote and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet, when we are helping you create the mindset to live in abundance spiritually, practically, all of the above. I'm excited about this interview that we have today because a lot of people do not give credit to the sound and the voice and how that is the key to building wealth. I remember being in a situation where, I was, speaking, right? As a public speaker, I get 25,000 or more for a keynote. And I remember being on stage and, doing a call and response. And there was a moment in which my voice went out. And now I'm forcing myself. It's hurting me, but I have to finish the gig. And I wish I had this young lady in my life prior to, but now she is here with us, the insider. She's going to give us the game on how to protect and make sure that this asset, that is your voice, is protected at the highest level. We have celebrity vocal coach, Miss Ashaala Shanae.
Hey.
How are you, my dear? How's everything?
So good. I'm good to be here.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited because I've never really thought of my voice being an asset, even though when I think about, my days in corporate America, as a banking executive, it was my ability to have conversations, with clients. It was my ability to have conversations with my sales team and motivate them, that allowed me to rise in the ranks. As an entrepreneur, my voice has allowed me to be on some big stages. It allowed me to really, motivate people into action and really move them. And, whether it's, as an author, written 12 books and my audio books, like all of that stuff, I never really thought about protecting the voice. But you are a celebrity vocal coach.
Yeah, schmancy pantsy. You just said something. Can we just get right into it?
Yes, ma'am.
You said something really interesting in your, you were just introducing yourself from corporate America. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have voice insurance?
I don't. And there's a such thing, because I didn't even know there was a such thing as voice insurance.
There is such thing as voice insurance.
Like I can insure my voice.
Absolutely. Isn't it your asset? Isn't it your moneymaker? J-Lo insured her butt, right? Tina Turner insured her legs, right? Every athlete out there insures their hands, their body parts. Shoot, we even had a soccer player that insured his face.
Wow.
Right? So at the end of the day, you're a vocal athlete.
Wow.
You are a vocal athlete, and every day you get up, you put your voice at risk.
Yeah.
And there's no contingency plan.
Yeah.
Right? So what if one day you were to get up and no longer had a voice? You can definitely have, your podcast and your videos, but you just said you make $25K just to speak.
Yeah.
And as we know, amateurs make money on the front end, but experts make money on the back end. So anybody of your caliber should have voice insurance.
Wow.
It's a given. As a matter of fact, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you get voice insurance? You just go, how does that work?
So my team actually does that. I remember Neo Davis. We both know Neo as one of my clients. And so at his mastermind, he had no voice. He had no voice. And I remember him saying to me, Shayla, what do I do? Is freaking out. And so I said, Neo, I offer voice insurance. Right. And so my company actually does that for my high profile speaker. And not just high profile, anybody can get it.
Yeah.
But especially for those people where your voice it's like see your voice as like a voiced NFT. Right?
Yeah.
Your voice, as a matter of fact, you can close your eyes right now. Everybody can close their eyes and you can say, hey, this is Ash Cash.
Yeah.
Your voice has a sound, a configuration that makes it special.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, my company, I decided, you know what? Wait, no one's out here, besides Lloyd's of London, no one's out here really giving voice insurance. And so my company now provides that.
And how does that work though? Right? Because look, this supposed to be an interview, but y'all are not going to learn. But I would need to know, right?
Yeah.
So like with car insurance, if somebody hits your car or does anything to your car, the insurance company makes you whole.
Yeah.
Right? Life insurance, you die, makes your family whole.
Yeah.
Travel insurance, you go to travel, but how does voice insurance, if somebody, loses their voice, how does voice insurance make them whole?
So can we math it?
Let's do it.
And so voice insurance would really be under disability or body part insurance, right? So what we would do is configure how much money, what's the risk when you show up to an event or you do a mastermind, how much money would you be making on the front end? So let's math it for a second. Okay. You do a 1-day event, right? How many people would you expect to come to your 1-day event?
So let's say if I do a 1-day event, let's say 100 people.
100 people. What's the ticket to get in?
So really depends on the crowd. If it's a high
What would be
ticket,
high
ticket, like 2,000 potentially.
Okay, so 2,000. So let's just say you had about 20 to 30% of that, right? Bought a 2,000. That's 200,000 right there, right?
Yeah.
And then let's say on the low end, a low ticket is what?
About $100.
$100.
Yeah.
So that's another, let's math that. So 100 times 100, that's another $10,000 right there, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at 210,000, right? But we understand the back end as well. So you have a what? What's your
high ticket? 25,000.
25,000. You want to convert what? 10 to 20%?
Yeah.
So let's say we had about maybe 10 to 15 people get that 25, right? You're looking at another 250, another $250,000. All right. So what we would do with that is say, what's the potential of Ash to do a 1-day event, right? Where he comes, he makes money on the front end. That's 200,000 right there, 300,000 right there. Plus on the back end, he's making another 250, 300,000. You're looking at almost $1 million right there.
Yeah.
We would say, okay, based on the fact that he actually can lose $1 million. Because what if one day you woke up, you were in, I don't know, Puerto Rico doing your mastermind and you end up getting mold toxicity. And most people never think about that. They only think about losing their voice when they're speaking.
Yeah.
But literally you could be right here in this room right now and there could be mold toxicity and you don't even know it.
And that
you would absolutely lose your voice. There's something called mold poisoning. 73% of Americans actually deal with it.
73%.
73%. And so because of that, you wake up one day, you don't have your voice and you have to show up to 100 people that spent $5,000 or $2,000 to come and see you.
Yeah. Wow.
And so what we do with the insurance is we say, what is the potential? $500,000, almost 75, $750,000. And that's how we start to determine and quantitate what we would put as far as your voice insurance for you.
Wow. And so talk to us about Ashaala. Like how did you get into voice coaching? And
it's crazy. I got into voice coaching because I lost my voice. I was I graduated from college, couldn't find a job, ended up becoming a substitute teacher. And at the time I was touring, in the music industry. And I ended up
Were you a singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up developing something called vocal nodules. So vocal nodules are like callus, like when you work out without gloves, you get callus on your hands.
Yeah.
So callus started to form on my vocal cords.
Wow.
And so when your vocal cords start to meet and come together, it can't meet. So when you hear people sound raspy or hoarse, that's what was happening to me. And as a result of that, I ended up losing my voice for 6.5 weeks.
Wow.
I could not speak, could not sing, could not do anything. That was my bread and butter.
Wow.
It took me into a place of depression.
Wow.
I had severe vocal anxiety as a result of it because I didn't know if my voice would show up.
Yeah.
And there's so many out here that are don't know if their voice is going to show up for their podcast, don't know if their voice is going to show up for their next speaking engagement. And so I went to the doctor, the ear, nose, and throat doctor. At that time as a substitute teacher, I didn't have no insurance. I was barely making it $100 a week.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, sir, I don't have money to take nodules off my cords. And I don't know if anybody knows how vocal nodules are take off your cords, but you can get vocal nodules from anything, from poor eating, from overuse, from yelling, screaming, smoking, alcohol. I mean, there's a lot of reasons you can get that. Yeah. They actually cut it off or they scrape it or they laser it off. Wow. And so as a result of that, I didn't have the money. So I took my degree, University of Miami, shout out to the U. Took my degree and learned holistic ways of healing my voice. And so I became the solution to the problem that I had and the need that I have. And that's how I really got started. And so I started touring as a result of that. And so many artists would come to me asking me, yo, Shayla, can you help me? My voice, something's wrong with it. I'm on tour. I can't, I have no voice. And so I literally became the go-to person.
Wow.
And as a result of that, speakers started coming to me as well. And the rest is history. I developed my company called the Music and Arts Healing Institute when I realized, I'm onto something here, right? And was able to start my company with $500 and now has scaled it to multiple 6 figures.
Wow. And so you've coached, Grammy Award winning soul icon Betty Wright. Yolanda Adams, Erica Campbell, Patti LaBelle, John Cicada, Tank. You have Neo. Shout out to Neo, and all these folks. And what is sort of like so I think first and foremost, I think it's intriguing to how you started a business based on something that you needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, most of us that end up becoming entrepreneurs really become entrepreneurs based on a need that we had that wasn't being met.
Yeah.
And so we create our own irresistible offer.
Yeah.
And so for me, the irresistible offer was, I don't have the money.
Right.
So what am I going to do?
Right.
And at the end of the day, I was able to provide my own payoff. Yeah. Right. And now I provide so many other people that use their voice, podcasters, radio personalities, sports commentators, singers, anyone people that do audiobooks, anyone that uses their voice for monetization or just purpose advancement. Yeah. As a matter of fact, think about it. If you were to go to if we were all talking right now, right? Everybody that's on your set, we're all talking, all you're going to hear is voices. Mm-hmm. And we never think of it as an asset. We never think about it as an invaluable asset. Mm-hmm. I always tell people that there are three things that are always going to be invaluable assets: your mind, your voice, and people's attention.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about, that ability to build something that doesn't necessarily exist. Like, was it easy for you to do that? Like, you said Lloyd's of London, which is huge, and right? Like this is a behemoth type of business. Absolutely. And so you're like rumbling with the biggest of them all. Talk about that. Talk about that mindset that allows you to start something that is so niche that I'm sure if you told somebody about this idea, they'll be like, you bugging.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I probably wouldn't be bugging is because I'm trusted. Yeah. I'm an expert in my industry. Yeah. So because I'm an expert in my industry, I'm not just going to tell you, get voice insurance. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. Right? This is the reason why. And lots of times, most people, I don't go looking for people. People come looking for me. So when my high profile clients or anyone that comes looking for my expertise or my services say, hey, how do I preserve my voice? Or I have something coming up. I had another speaker, a well-known speaker that was like, I have hiccups, uncontrollable hiccups. Yeah. And they literally getting paid $30,000 to go on stage 5 minutes before going on stage. Wow. The hiccups wouldn't stop. Wow. And people don't think about things like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so this speaker, I won't call the person's name, but this speaker literally called me 5 minutes before going on stage, bugging out. Wow. And I don't think people understand that trust is a big thing. Yeah. So I think for me, the reason why I can be able to say, hey, listen, Ash, you need to go get vocal insurance is because 1, I'm knowledgeable in my industry. Yeah. 2, I'm trusted. Yeah. Right. And not only that, I'm credible. Yeah. Yeah. And I think when you have those things, your listeners listen to you because you're credible. Yeah. They listen to you because you're trustworthy. Yeah. And they listen to you because you know what you're saying. You got books, you have other things, and you've proven it. Yeah. And I think that is really, yes, Lloyd's of London is definitely, that, but I'm looking more of the integrity and the trustworthiness of the people that I serve.
If you are an entrepreneur, business coach, or small business owner who wants to get more visibility for your product or service, then consider advertising on Inside the Vault. We have been seen and heard over 2 million times, and as the show continues to grow, your ad would be embedded in our episodes forever. So the return on investments on advertising with us is unmeasurable and invaluable. If you're interested in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then text podcast to 646-687-4152 or email us at info@insidethevaultshow.com. Allow your business to get the visibility that it deserves.
But when you first, because that's now, though, right?
Oh yeah.
But talk to me, like when you first started, when you were like I'm gonna do this business without necessarily having the receipts, as we would say. what gives you that confidence,
Yeah.
right? Like what makes you say, you know what? I'm gonna start a business.
Yeah.
Like what, were you doing something else before
Yeah.
then? Take me to that
Yeah.
beginning journey.
So it's interesting because I was working, I took a break from the industry and I was working in a nonprofit world.
Yeah.
And I remember I was overseeing a $500,000 budget for the city of Miami. I was running their 501c3 for the whole city of Miami. And I was like, yo, I don't really want to do this, but I'm here. And I remember they brought me in the office and they said to me, we got to let you go. And I was like, why? Well, we don't have the money in the budget, but I'm over the budget. Like I can see everything. And I got laid off. I got laid off. I only had $500 to my name.
Wow.
I had no health insurance.
Yeah.
I had no 401k. I had none of those things. I remember taking $395, Ash. I begged a gentleman down the street from my house. I said, listen, I only have $500 to my name. Can I just borrow a little closet cubicle?
Wow.
I just want to start I got to do something because I don't ever want to be in a position where someone else determines how I eat.
Yeah.
Right? I said that would be the last time that ever happened. And it was risky. It was very scary. $395 he gave me as rent. I remember that was when MySpace was out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I took my little flip phone and I started taking pictures and saying, hey, I got 4 chairs from Costco. I flipped them out. I had a little Casio piano. I said, yo, my business is open. That's how I started.
Wow.
I lost a lot of money along the way, but then mentorship.
Yeah.
And I need to talk about mentorship because it wasn't until I really understood, wait a minute, in order for me to get a return on something, I have to seed what I need.
Yeah.
And so at that time, the school of hard knocks for me, I didn't have mentors at the time to show me what it was to run a business. I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But when I started to get into mentorship and talk about Betty Wright, Betty Wright was one of the first mentors to take me up under her wings.
Yeah.
I toured with her for 17 years
Wow.
until the day she died.
Wow. Wow.
And until the day she died. And she taught me so much about the industry because she was the first Black woman to ever become a millionaire and turn gold with her own independent record label in Miami.
Yeah.
Right? She was the queen of Miami Soul, and she was more than just a singer. You know, you had the Diddy's and the Khalids and all of them looking up to her, but she was a businesswoman, and she taught me so much about business.
Yeah.
So having the Yolanda Adams in my life, you know, and then of course meeting people like a Neil Davis, meeting people like a Coach Kelly J, that's what really got it to where it is now.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was really, honestly, School of Hard Knocks. And I will not tell any entrepreneur out here that it's all gravy and strawberries and cream. No, you're going to have to learn.
Yeah.
You're going to have to learn what it is to invest right. You're going to have to learn what it is to money right. You're going to have to learn what it is to have strategies.
Yeah.
Learn what it is to have succession plans. Learn what it is to budget.
Yeah.
Learn what it is to go without until you can. There was many times where I didn't pay myself. I paid my staff, but I did not pay myself.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And I just wanted to kind of like say that because, you know, I feel like that, you know, someone watching right now, one of our insiders are watching right now, and they are in a position where they have an idea.
Yeah.
The idea might not be sexy, right? It might not be something that everybody's doing. But what is that thing that's gonna, you know, have them take that next step?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think that it's a blessing, you know, for you to be in this space because, you know, I mean, the truth be told, there's millions of people that need your services. Like this is a, you know, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business that, you know, is, you know, as the word continues to get out there, you know, I already see your business and flourishing, you know,
Thank you.
beyond, right? Because, you know, again, you know, you perish from what you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
Lack of knowledge, right?
Lack of knowledge.
And so, you know, me as a speaker, there's just so much that I didn't know. Like, and it's crazy because it almost seems obvious. Like, you get this much, like, protect your voice, right? And so, you know, what are some bad habits, right? That speakers do that are like harming their voice?
Absolutely. Well, first thing, and I'll just ask you because you're a speaker here.
Yes.
When you get up in the morning, do you warm up your voice?
I don't.
All right. So if you were to go on the basketball court, would you stretch first?
Absolutely.
So then, yeah, this is the court.
Yeah.
This is the court. And I think one of the biggest things, misnomers, especially with speakers, I would say is they don't warm their voice up at all. There is no daily regimen.
Yeah.
And I always say things like, Kobe had a coach. Jordan had a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the greats had coach.
Yeah.
They had coaches. So if you're a vocal athlete, how come you don't have one?
Yeah.
And I always say you always want to make sure that you have your money voice 5. This is your money voice. This is your this is real estate.
Yeah.
And so not warming up and not cooling down the voice. That is something especially that I taught to Neo. So now I have him warming up every single time he does something. And I teach him, certain regimens and things to do. Another one is you got to lessen the alcohol consumption. And the reason that is because alcohol is dehydrating and it produces acid reflux. So as a result of that, when you're sleeping at night, the acid is coming up from your stomach, it's going up your esophagus, and it's burning away and eating away at your throat.
Wow.
And so when you wake up, you have a sore throat and you're like, yo, why is my voice gone? Right? Yeah. It's because of the fact that you're consuming so much alcohol. Another thing too is making, not eating right.
Yeah.
Right? You sound like what you eat.
Word.
You sound like what you eat. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that whatever you put into your body, whatever you put in will either make money for you or lose money for you. Whatever comes out will either make money for you or lose money for you. So things like high acid foods, right? Yeah. The citrus fruits, the sodas, the sports drinks, right? The sugary foods, or even when it comes to mucus enhancing foods, right? It's not just dairy, right? It's things like the white processed foods and stuff like that literally rises histamine in your body, and that leads to infection and inflammation. So lots of times when you have a post-nasal drip and you don't know, why do I keep clearing my throat every time I'm doing an episode? Or, why do I always feel like I'm always congested or there's mucus? It's because one, you could be dehydrated because of not, just drinking lots of like sugary stuff. But two, you could be dealing with acid reflux. And then another bad habit is not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
How much water do you drink daily?
Oh, I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, we should be drinking at least half a body weight in fluid ounces, right? And then, of course, not learning proper vocal utilization, like really getting with somebody to learn, how do I actually breathe correctly? Yeah. Like, how do I take pauses and cadences where I'm not just going, or when you get on the stage, you're like, yo, when you just start going one time on your voice, I have to teach my speakers, listen, don't just go from 0 to 100. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's not a good habit at all. There's a plethora of them, medications. The sad news is the sad reality is we have a lot of talented people that are dealing with mental and emotional health issues. Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I realized is that vocal health is definitely correlates with mental health. Believe it or not, when you are dealing with anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and you don't take care of your mental health, and that's one thing I see us as entrepreneurs and especially minorities, and we don't take care of our mental health. And especially with the pandemic that has skyrocketed in mental health, what happens is when you're dealing with that anxiety, when you're dealing with panic attacks and stuff like that, or depression, it actually does something to your voice box. And it creates a medical disorder called muscle tension dysphonia. It's fancy word. Dysphonia just simply means hoarseness. It's hoarseness because of muscle tension, because of things like stress. Wow. And our stress levels are skyrocketing. Yeah. We don't know how to deal with anxiety. We have perfectly hidden depression, high functioning anxiety. And as entrepreneurs, we deal with anxiety. 100%, yeah. So because of that, those are just some of the things, that we have to, be able to take care of ourselves. Watch the things that we're doing as negative coping mechanisms. Yeah.
And you talked about like, waking up your voice, right? So when I wake up in the morning, I was always told, I don't do it religiously, but I was always told that the first thing that you should put in your body is like warm water, right? And lemon, right? Is that the way to wake up the voice? Is that the right way to go about it?
Well, sorry to bust everybody's bubble, but when you drink water in the morning, it doesn't touch your vocal cords at all. All right. And that's a big misconception. Yeah. So one of the things I do to teach people, and this is the reason why I love what I'm doing. And if I could just pause for a second and go back when you asked me, what is it? I am living in purpose. Yeah. I realize that I get up every day and God has allowed me the opportunity to tell people how to preserve their asset, their voice asset, to make money for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes the voice is the only thing somebody has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. Everybody's born with purpose, but we're not living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. And so my reason for being, my why and why I do this and I go hard, that even if I never got a dime from it, I'll still do it.
Yeah.
Is because I understand my calling. I understand my purpose. I understand my passion. So I just wanted to go back there because that's what's kept me when I didn't have no clients coming in. And that's what's keeping me when I have a fluctuation of clients coming in. Right? But to go back just to answer your question, I think it's just so important that we understand like your warm-ups. Like I want to teach you some warm-ups.
Yes.
You want to do some warm-ups with me?
Let's do it.
Well, that's the first thing we're not going to do. We're not going to clear the throat like that.
Okay.
So normally when you're clearing the throat, it's because there's mucus on the throat.
Yeah.
So you want to drink some water. It's just only going to clear the throat, not the vocal folds. All right. Because it's two different areas. And so I educate people about anatomy first.
So don't clear the throat.
No, just drink some water.
Yeah.
Or if you do something just like a light little, breathy. Everybody's gonna be conscientious of it now, right? But a light little breathiness, because I tell people all the time, like they say.
Yeah.
I tell people, when you find who they are, tell them to meet me outside so we can throw some hands, because catch me outside, because they lie.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you drinking the warm water and the lemon, it's cool, but it's not going to do anything for the vocal cords. It's just going to soothe your throat. Right. So for you, a warm up that you can do, right? You could get a bottle of water. You can get a straw, right? And you can fill the bottle of water halfway. And all you're going to do is like, you can sing your ABCs. You don't have to be on key. All right. You could just go, right. And make sure the bubbles are actually forming in the water. What that does is it actually strengthens your vocal cords.
So I'm pause. I'm blowing the blowing the
so you
air inside of
you just singing in the straw, but your own way. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Your own way. Or you can even do it like with a Z. You could just go zzz. Try that. Go. Keep going. Yeah. Hey. Right, now close the mouth in a little bit and just go zzz. Right, and you could do the same thing. And you could also do what we call just sirens, going up with your voice. It's starting from the lowest part of your voice and just going zzz, and just go all the way and come back down. Right, so you're going to breathe through your nostril, and I want you to do that. Do it in the shower. You know why? Because steam actually goes directly onto your voice box and it lubricates your voice box. So it causes your vocal cords to stretch. So just like a muscle that you would do for anything on the court, you need to stretch your muscles. So in order for you to really get the inflections that you want for your voice to be Ash Cash, so people can understand how you resound your voice, it has to stretch, right? And then some other things you can do, like you could do the same thing of the ABCs, right? And it may seem like silly, but it goes a long way. Why? Because that air circulates back into your throat. It meets the air coming up from your lungs, and it causes a cushioning called subglottal pressure. I don't want to get too nerdy on you. All right. Yeah. And because of that, it starts to relax the muscles. So imagine if you didn't get any sleep.
Yeah.
Imagine if you stressed out. Imagine you didn't drink a lot of water, and then you started to just emotionally eat. And then on top of that, you're dealing with anxiety to the woozah. And so you go ahead and you take some alcohol to relax. But on top of that, you go and you take sedatives and a sleeping pill, and then you're wondering why your voice ain't showing up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you do these things for your voice. And the average speaker never thinks about it. So every time, and you're going hard with podcasts. So every time you're doing podcasts, you have to be able to warm up.
Right.
And after every podcast, including this one, I'm going to make sure you cool down your voice.
Wow.
Okay.
That's like a whole process.
I know.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean, it's to the point where after every speaking engagement, I can feel, the tiredness in my vocals. And I just, I get this tea. I drink tea. That I was told, it's
What, throat coat?
Yeah, throat coat. That's what it is. Yeah.
So what is it called?
Throat coat.
Is it called vocal cord coat?
It's not. No,
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
It's throat coat.
Yeah.
It coats the throat, right? So with the vocal cords, though, you can't see it with the natural eye. You would literally have to go to a doctor to put something down your nostril all the way down or your mouth to see it with a camera, right? So the thing that allows us to survive every day, called that epiglottis, when you swallow that water, that tea, the epiglottis pushes it away from your voice box, which is literally where your trachea is, your windpipe for your lungs, and it takes it to the stomach. So it never touches the vocal cords at all.
And that's crazy because I know this is probably somebody wants to know this question.
Yeah.
And so it's not a stupid question. I'm just going to preface it that. But so the throat and the vocal cord is two different things. They don't live in the same house.
So the throat muscle is called the pharynx,
Yes.
Pharynx. The voice box is called the larynx, Larynx. So the voice box is housed in the throat, but there's something that separates it called the epiglottis, that every time you swallow your spit or your saliva or, tea or food, the vocal cords are the door to your lungs by way of the trachea. So the only thing that gets in there is air.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, you can't even speak without air.
Wow.
So try to breathe in and say your name at the same time. Everybody try it.
Yeah.
Try to breathe in. You can't do it. You can't do it. But put your hand like this and say your name. What do you feel?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how you were created. You were created where your voice, you cannot speak or sing or do anything without air.
Right.
It's so dope.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody try it. Right?
Try to breathe in and say your name. You can't.
Wow.
You can't.
Wow.
And that's the myth that I have to correct.
Yeah.
Is that people think, well, I'm just drinking this tea. I'm doing this lemon. I'm doing this honey. But it's not doing anything for you. That's a psychological myth. You see what I'm saying? Wow. So at the end of the day, no, rest, hydration, and just being quiet, and then learning proper ways to breathe and support your voice, and learning education about your voice. That's what's going to keep you healthy.
Wow.
And warming up.
Hey, yo, if your mind ain't blown right now, because honestly, like now, I mean, you can't unhear this, right? Now when you think about even my 9-to-5ers, like you don't even have to be an entrepreneur, right? Think about if you like where you work. If you work, with only computers and you ain't got to talk to somebody, then fine. Don't worry about it, right? But majority of people work in a space where they have to communicate. They have to talk. If you're a manager, you have to talk. Like it's so wow, this is great. And so talk to me about how can somebody, right? Like there's so many ways to make money, right?
Absolutely.
As a vocal coach, how can somebody make 6 figures with their voice?
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. Everybody that you've interviewed have made 6 figures with their voice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being a sports commentator, podcaster, YouTuber, audiobooks, right? Jingles, commercials. All right. People that are out there and they're literally using their voice. As a matter of fact, there are people that actually use their voice for others for voice. I don't know if you know vocoders. I don't know if you know what that is, but there are literal so many ways. The main ones for us, especially in the digital space, is podcasting, YouTubing, audiobooks, commercials, jingles, actually doing video voiceovers. That's a big thing right now. Commercials for any kind of products, merchandise, anything like that are definitely ways that people are using now their voice to create a 6-figure digital asset. And so what I do is I teach singers and speakers to go beyond just this. And of course, public speaking, right? Masterminds, IG lives. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, like it's limitless of how you, and then of course, understanding monetization, right? And how to do that. Cause it's one thing to say, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast, but it ain't just starting a podcast. You still have to learn how to monetize on that. And I think the biggest, you know what the moneymaker is? Trust. Have you ever trusted somebody you've never spoken to?
Wow.
And the reason is because the human voice carries inflections and tones that literally sways how consumers buy.
Wow.
So people, when you see people that are spokespersons in commercials or television shows and stuff like that, they know why they put them there, not just because of their celebrity status or anything like that, but their voice also does something from a psychological standpoint to build trust.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. And so, man, I need all the help, right? because I'm telling you, like I've always known that as I speak, like even when I do podcasts, I know because I'm going to be interviewing so many people that I'm just like, all right, after I'm done, I'm gonna relax the voice. But you wrote an ebook called The Vocal Blueprint, right? And then you're sharing 7 voice care secrets every speaker singer should know to secure the bag. What exactly are the 7 voice care secrets?
You want me to give you all of them?
Give me some. Yeah, don't give me all. Give me some. Give me some.
All right. Well, the first thing first, you have to know the hard facts.
Yeah.
And the hard facts is one. I'll share a couple hard facts for you. Do you know the color of healthy vocal cords? They're white. And a lot of people think they're pink, right? But they're white, and the reason is because your vocal cords have no blood, they barely have blood supply, which means that they don't feel pain. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They have no nerve endings. So one of the first secrets is you have to learn the hard facts about your voice, right? For example, I'm not going to go and invest 20, 30K into you if I don't know anything about you.
Right.
I'm going to go and learn the facts about Ash Cash because if I'm going to put my investment in that, and so it's the same thing. People don't pay attention if they don't pay for anything, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, you have to know the facts about your voice, including how it works, what causes it to work, and what can damage it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the secrets that I teach is learning the hard facts. So I teach you, a little nerdy stuff, but it's good nerdy stuff because it's the things that you don't know that will harm you.
Yeah.
Other thing is eliminate the bad habits. You know what I mean? We're not sleeping enough.
Yeah.
We're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so study actually shows that the average human adult needs a minimum of 7 hours and 13 minutes a day in order to function properly.
Wow.
Anything under that, the brain actually calculates it as someone under DY.
Wow.
And so because of that, we're finding more studies where people are sleep deprived. And as a result of that, their vocal cords are actually being affected because of it. So you're going all day, but you only had 4 hours of sleep and you're wondering why your voice is going.
Yeah.
Ain't no drink that's going to help that.
Right.
There's no tea that's going to help that.
Right.
You got to go rest. I remember for Neil's mastermind, Neil, how many hours did you sleep? 4 hours? No. He had to leave and his actual prescription for the day was go and sleep.
Wow. Wow.
Go and sleep.
Yeah.
Because millions of dollars was on the line.
Right.
Right? You need to have a contingency plan, voice insurance.
Yeah.
All right. That's another secret that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You have to have a Money Voice 5. So not just having a vocal health coach, that's one, but you need a therapist. All right. Because the voice, the soul, they're all connected. Body, mind, soul, spirit, they're all connected. You need to have an ear, nose, and throat doctor. So for you, I would definitely say find an ENT in the local area and make sure that at least 2 or 3 times a year, like how you go to the dentist, you need to go and see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. All right. Another thing too is mindset over skill set, because there's a lot of people that are talented and gifted, but right now they don't even believe that their voice. Some people cringe to hear themselves back, you know? And so I teach on mindset versus skill set first, because if you don't believe that your voice is enough, no one else is going to believe it as well. Another secret that I actually teach about is you have to unlock and eliminate the diction dilemma. Not because we speak English means we have proper good diction, you know? And a lot of us, like I know I'm West Indian, you're West Indian, you know, speak another language, speak broken English, right? So lots of times we don't realize that diction actually affects even intonation, right? So things like that I teach my speakers, microphone etiquette, right? Especially when speakers get on stage and they're doing mastermind and you have a lapel mic, but the lapel mic is poor quality, right? And then you screaming over it and you're wondering why your voice is gone. So I teach you about how to choose the correct mic for your voice and how to choose the correct mic for your voice frequency. All right. I teach that as well. And so there's a plethora of secrets there that I have in my vocal blueprint.
Yeah, I need that. Y'all need that. Y'all gotta pick that up, you know, ASAP. And I think one of the ahas that I've had so far is diet.
Yes.
You know, you talked about, you know, I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but just some of the other, you know, things that you may eat that, you know, affect your voice, right? And because even just now, You mentioned, when I cleared my throat, you were like, hey, you cleared your throat because there's mucus in there,
Yeah.
right? And then when I think about why there's mucus based on my diet. I might be eating things that are creating mucus, and then inflammation. Like, how does inflammation affect the voice?
Absolutely. Great question. So remember I said you sound like what you eat.
Yeah.
Right? So
what do I eat? Oh, no,
okay. I was going to tell you, no.
So
you eat sauce-pois, legumes, banan pesé. But no, that's a great question. Well, first and foremost, mucus is good for you. Okay. Let me just say that there's something in our body called good mucus. All right. And the reason why we have good mucus, your saliva has it, your blood has it. It actually protects your cells, right? But it's a cleanser for your sinus ducts from any allergens. But what happens is when we start to get sick, like when we have the flu or the common cold or COVID, why do you think COVID was so big amongst people of color? Because we are filled with mucus. And so that's why so many of us were dying from it. And now people have COVID voice. Have you heard of COVID voice?
No.
Yes. A lot of people end up having vocal damage because of COVID and they can't recover from it.
Wow.
Because of that. So to answer your question, when you eat certain foods like, yes, dairy, but things like fatty meats, okay, chicken and pork and beef, and moderation is key. Because I eat chicken, right? Yeah. But moderation is key. Or things like corn, sugary foods, fried foods, breaded, things like that. What it does, it enhances the mucus in the body. And that causes something called histamine to rise. And when that rises, that causes inflammation and infection. So when you are dealing with buildup in mucus or post-nasal drip and stuff like that, you run to over the counter and you get an antihistamine called a decongestant, like a Flonase, a Zyrtec, a Claritin. But what happens is they eliminate the good mucus with the bad mucus and they dehydrate. So when you are taking that Flonase or that Zyrtec and you're like, yo, why is my throat so dry? It's because you're eliminating even the good mucus that's there to protect you.
Wow.
And so you want to make sure, and a lot of us are dealing with inflammation because of diet, the things that we're eating, the white rice, the white pasta, the white breads, the fast foods, things like that. And so we need to reverse it by doing more dark green leafy foods. We need to reverse it by doing more low fatty meats like fish, right? Lamb and turkey. We need to do a lot more water, coconut water, things like that.
Wow.
The things people don't like to eat.
Right. 100%.
But we need to balance it, okay?
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. And so let's talk a little bit about, business, your business now, right? Because I think that I could go on and on about getting, especially as a speaker and as somebody that knows that my voice is an asset. So that's why I'm getting your ebook ASAP. But let's talk about your business, right? Like, how were you able to scale your business to multiple six figures? Give us some of the things that worked for you.
So what happened to me was, the truth, I got drained. I was in so much demand. I was literally seeing about 40 to 50 clients in 4 days.
Wow.
One-to-ones. And I loved what I did, but I would get home and I would be so drained. Wow. And I'm like, yo, this can't be life. Right. And by the time I had already made six figures and stuff like that, but I was not doing systems. I wasn't doing automation. And so I'm like, how can I can't be working like a dog like this. Right. And so I literally had to say, okay, how can I do less but make more money? And that's how I got into systems and automating. So what I started to do was, the first program I developed, I said, no, I need to train more vocal coaches because I needed to give vocal coaches to people, but there weren't any quality vocal coaches out there that I know would be able to, if I said, hey, I'm dealing with you over here. I need you to go see Ash because Ash has an upcoming engagement. I need to make sure that somebody I can trust can do that. Right. I just couldn't find people like that to do that. So I built a certification program where it was my first 90-day DIY certification program for speakers and singers, and especially during the pandemic. Why? Because a lot of singers didn't have work anymore. They couldn't tour. They couldn't do anything. And so a lot of people were struggling. And so, I took that and I said, no, I'm going to create an online course. And so I started certifying coaches. Right. And then after that, I'm like, okay, but still, I need to do more. So with that, I started to say, I'm not doing any one-to-one anymore. I'm doing group coaching.
Yeah.
And so if you want access to me, you're going to have to pay more. So I doubled my price.
Right.
I doubled my price. And I think to the neos and stuff like that, because I literally started saying, yo, I got bored making six figures. And I'm like, I'm tired of making six figures. So I had to go look to see the people that's making 8, 9, and 7. What are they doing?
Yeah.
And really and truly, that's what really got me to scale. It was me being bored of making six figures.
And it's, a couple of things I want to unpack. Like, a lot of people focus on six figures, and you could hustle your way to six figures. But to get to that next level, to get to 7, like you have to have systems. It has to be delegation. You have to hire people. Like there's no way that you're going to make 7 figures as a hustler. That's not possible. Like you need a team, to build that. And so I love that you said, hey, I got bored. Like I got bored with 6 figures and I'm trying to figure out how I get to the next level. But the other thing I love, because, I'm a book coach, right? And so I help, entrepreneurs, small business folks create 6 and 7 figure businesses from their book. And it's funny because that's one of the, there's 15 streams of income that you can make from your book. One of the things that I actually talk about is, creating a certification. And so for you to create a certification, which is just a genius idea, as anybody who's an expert at something who wants to scale to the next level, create a certification program is such next level, and it's going to help you, because at the end of the day, not only are you allowing someone else to teach your philosophy and your expertise in the name of which, how you do it. And now they're spreading your word. Now they're spreading your philosophy. Now others kind of going to want, want to learn from the expert. And so I love that. But then the other thing I don't want anybody to miss is when you create programs, it allows you to charge more for access to you.
Listen, one of the things that happened, I got my time back. I got my time back.
100%.
And what happens is, how I got my time back, because as I created group coaching, and I created a Voice Masters Academy, then my coaches came and taught for me. So I just showed up just to do Q&A. Right? I got my time back. And so therefore it allowed me to double and triple my price for the people that want access to me. Right? And one of the plays that I definitely have is, what I normally do is I just have my students and I have my coaches actually do all the testimonials, because I don't have to do much about it. And so let me tell you something, scaling is the way to go. And the way to do it is really truly about getting your time back by creating systems where you can still impact a whole bunch of people, but you can actually have people under you that's doing that too. And you said something about scaling and bringing a team. That also caused me to scale too. When I hired my first operations manager and virtual assistants, right? And things like that. Like, it was like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't have to do this by myself. Because lots of times, can I be honest with you?
100%.
We were never taught financial literacy.
Never.
So we were taught, you go to school, get a 4-year degree, and I have degrees, right? But then you go work for somebody and you save up your money till you're 65 to just spend 10 years to enjoy it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's just like, that's not life. But even in entrepreneurship, sometimes we feel we have to do it by ourselves. And I realize there's a saying that says, anything that is expandable, you have to share it. If you want it to go to the next level, you can't keep it to yourself. So one of the hacks that I'm doing right now, I'm gonna white label my curriculums.
Oh wait, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah, we want to go to the 8 and 9 figures. That's where to go. So I don't mind.
Wow. Wait, like she just blew my mind just now. So like that's too much. Take that out. Edit that out. No, I'm just playing. All right, so cool. So, now, so talk to me. So now where Shayla is right now. If Shayla could go back and talk to her 18-year-old self, what advice is she giving 18-year-old Shayla?
Okay. First and foremost, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. I would say that first. I wouldn't even do a business or anything like that. I would just say that it's okay. Like, you don't have to figure everything out so fast. Right? The second thing I would say is that mentorship is important. Sit at the feet of people. Information is your net worth increases with your network.
Yeah,
and sometimes sitting at the feet of people sometimes could be just serving somebody. So for me, serve more. Like, don't have to always feel like you got to get in. No, you're going to be blessed and you're going to get an opportunity. So I would say that to my 18-year-old self. I would say save, but I will also say invest, because I'm in between old school and new school. So my 18-year-old self back then was just like save. But if I would tell my 18-year-old self now, I would say save and invest, right? Like, open up yourself to learning how to invest and finding ways of how to make your money work for you. Right. And then I would say the last thing I would say is you got to make sure that you know your purpose. What is your reason for being? And I always say, this is how you find your purpose. Can I share it? And this is what I would say to my 18-year-old self and any 18-year-old that's out here that's trying to figure out, what do I do? I've been listening to these podcasts. What do I do? You find out first, what do you love to do? I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. What do you love to do? Okay. What are you good at? What can you get paid for? And how can you meet the needs of others? When what you love to do intersects with what you're good at, you may love to cook, but you may not be good at it. All right. So how do you know that you're good at it? When it's proven, like people say you're good at it, right? That's your passion. Then whenever what you're good at, when it intersects with what you can get paid for, how you can make money, that's your profession, right? And then when what you can make money from what you're good at, what you love to do and what you're good at, when it can meet the needs of others and you can create a payoff, that's your vocation. And that's a difference. There's a difference between your profession and your vocation. Profession says, I'm good at it, I can get paid for it. Vocation says, and even if I never make a dime, I'll still do it. Because I'm meeting the needs of others. And when you can meet the needs of others and it goes back to the fact that you love to do it, that's your mission. So when your passion intersects with your profession, intersects with your vocation, intersects with your mission, that's when you know that you are living in purpose. And that's why mentorship is so important, because mentors are the navigators. They're the GPS that can get you there. And so I wish I had known that then. That's what I would say to my 18-year-old self. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Wow. That was so powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say is the most extravagant thing that you've done with money so far?
Well, I got a birthday gift.
Oh, that's nice. Nice. That is nice. Okay.
I believe in, making your money work for you, but I also believe in treating yourself. I've worked hard. And so extravagant, you know what I want to do? Well, the extravagant therapy. I know it might not be extravagant to everybody else, but it's extravagant to me. The fact that I can afford it. And I can afford as many as I want to. And I can afford the best of it. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
I've never really been into materialistic things. If I'm going to buy something, it has to make money for me. If I'm going to invest my money.
Those things are back order too. So you already know
if I have to make money,
up.
it has to accrue for me.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a Rolex, matter of fact, for y'all.
Just in case. I think coming up, I want to do Maldives.
Okay.
I think that would be something that I'd like to do for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what would you say is the most impactful thing you've done with money so far?
Mentorship.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. No,
I believe in not just what I've invested in multiple mentorship programs. I think last year I spent $100K in mentorship. But I made it back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
I'm at 125 this year so far. And we still early. All right, so we're gonna do a lightning round.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we take bank terms.
Oh Lord.
And we flip them for us because we're literally inside the vault.
Yes.
And so the first term we're gonna do is deposit slip.
Yeah.
Deposit slip. You take a slip. You write it down. Take it to the bank, and you put money in the bank.
Yeah.
For us, the deposit slip is a mistake, a money mistake, a slip up. Right.
Yeah.
What would you say has been your biggest deposit slip so far in your journey?
As far as me putting in?
Making mistakes. Your biggest money mistake. Yeah.
Allowing people to make too many withdrawals.
Okay.
Yeah, I had taken inventory.
Yeah.
For me. I look at the first 5 people in my phone.
Yeah.
And I determine, are they making more withdrawals? And so my biggest mistake is I allowed people to make too many withdrawals.
Wow.
And not enough deposits.
Wow. You flipped that, right? Turn number 2 is charge off, right?
Yeah.
And a charge off, you borrow money from the bank, you don't pay the money back. Eventually the bank is like, listen, we're going to try to get it back. But eventually like, I'm going to charge this debt off, right?
Yeah.
For us inside the vault, a charge off is what type of people or mindsets did you have to charge off during your journey?
People that just first thinking.
Yeah.
And of course, the saying, if you hang around 4 people, you're gonna be the 6th one.
100%,
and if you hang around, 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th one.
Yeah.
And so for me, the charge off is I had to be able to understand that everybody just can't go with me. It is what it is. No hard feelings.
Yeah.
I still love you.
Yeah.
But where I'm going and where God has me going, you just can't come.
Yeah.
And I had to be okay with saying no.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, ATM, another teachable moment, right? When I tell y'all better rewind this, y'all better share this, y'all better rewind this and listen, because she dropped a lot of valuable gems, a lot of, like I'm telling you, like I'm gonna rewind it because there's some things that you said. So give us one more, right? Like when look at this camera, tell our people, give us one more teachable moment, something that they can walk away with that's gonna make their life better.
I want to say something. It may sound really, really simple, but it carries a lot of weight. And I want you to say to yourself right now, I need you to speak it out, because when you speak it out, it actually manifests, right? Your world is determined by your words. So I want you to say this: I am enough. I just want you to say that. Because when you say that, it cancels out every lie that was said about you. It cancels out even every lie you've thought about yourself. And lots of times they're just thoughts. They're not even real. There's a difference between truth and reality. See, your truth may be like, I don't have it. I don't have the resources, but you may have resourcefulness. And so at the end of the day, I want you to know that you are enough. And another thing, I want you to know that you're not too late. You're just on time. All right. Everyone has a place where they're learning things. And for you, this is the perfect moment for you to be where you need to be in this moment to get the things that you need in order to go to the next level. Stop looking at everyone else. I need you to know that you are enough. You're not late. You're right on time. Now, I just want you to breathe and just sit in that. Sit in it. You got to change the way you think it. And the first thing is you got to speak it so that you can be able to understand that is the reality. What you may think is the truth, what you see on Instagram and social media and stuff like that, or even what somebody said to you, is not it. But the reality is you are so dope and people are out here waiting for you to show up. So don't waste another show up. Don't waste another show up. When somebody asks you to come and speak, when somebody asks you to come and be in the room, even if it's not your platform, show up, because you never know the blessing that's on the other side. And that's what I would say to somebody.
Normally I would yell it, but to preserve my voice, bars, gold bars. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much, Shayla. It was such an honor. Definitely we want everybody to check out the Vocal Blueprint. You guys can go to insidevocalblueprint.com. Please tell them what they'll learn, from the Vocal Blueprint.
Absolutely. So from the Vocal Blueprint, you're going to learn first and foremost about the fact that I just said that you are enough. Your voice is enough, right? You're going to learn about what you need to do to not just monetize, but maximize and optimize your voice so that you can see it beyond just what you think it is. Learn how to treat it, maintain it, and then also learn how to monetize on it. Learn how to really understand that it is voice equity for you. Yeah. That really and truly it can accrue for you if you really learn to invest well into it. Yeah. So it's for anyone, any high performing speaker or singer looking to secure the bag, ensure the voice, and ensure the gig. This book is for them.
Love it. Love it. All right, y'all. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault. If somebody wanted to connect with you online, where can they find you?
Absolutely. On all social media platforms at Ashaala Shanae. So the first 3 letters of Ash, and then AALA. So ASHAALASHANAE. You can find me on all digital platforms, and you can even go to ashaalashanae.live and also find everything about me there.
I love it. All right, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you like, share, review, subscribe to the podcast, right? I know, if you're watching the visual, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to it, you probably subscribe already, so go and rate and review it. But we appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure you visit us at InsideTheVaultShow.com. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at IamAshCash. And I'll see you next time for another powerful episode on the greatest money mindset show on the planet, Inside the Vault. I'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.
Oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Money Show, right? And as you know, we always try to bring on great guests who do great things, but I think this episode is going to be really unique. It's not every day that someone can teach you how to make sure you can preserve the very thing that's allowing us to have this platform here today. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's
you
good.
know, you don't think about it like that.
Yeah,
but
this podcast can't happen if we don't have a voice.
Right, absolutely. So with no further ado, welcome to the show.
Yeah, amazing, Mr. Shayla. Thank you for coming to the show. Introduce the people to who you are and kind of a little bit about. I'm interested to know how you got to doing what you do.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hold on. She needs a bigger intro. The celebrity
vocal
like, she is it. Okay, I'm glad to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, no, I've been doing this for almost like 18 years as a celebrity vocal coach, but I'm a celebrity vocal health expert and performance expert coach, because what happens sometimes you get a big misunderstanding that it's just for singers, but no, I deal with speakers, high performing speakers and singers that need vocal health etiquette, need vocal health practices and holistic practices in order to keep the voice, to secure the bag. So I've been doing it for a very long time, and I got into it because I needed a solution to a problem. Okay. I myself was dealing with severe vocal problems, and at the time I was broke in college. I could not afford health insurance. Went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they told me it would cost a whole lot of money that I didn't have. Yeah. And so I took the degrees that I had and, research and talking to a lot of different professionals in the industry as far as in the vocal world. And I was able to heal my own self holistically from vocal nodules, which are bumps, callus that grow on both sides of your vocal cords and causes hoarseness and raspiness and complete voice loss. And so, starting my career in doing that, I was also touring and traveling with a lot of singers, and they used to say, Shayla, go to her, she'll know what to do. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm on something here.
So you were a singer and you were helping other people.
I was a singer and helping other people, absolutely, and a speaker too. So it wasn't just I was in both realms, right? And doing it, and also teaching part-time. And so I think teaching really, because it's so hard on the vocal folds, I think that's what really caused the vocal problems. But I really had an opportunity to tour, my first professional tour, and I couldn't tell them that I had nodules. So I had to do something fast and quick.
Because they'll probably cut you and got somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So was the solution fast, or was it like a process?
No, it's not a quick fix. It was a process. But the thing about it is that you have to continuously, it's like an athlete. You have to continuously work. We are all vocal athletes here,
gotcha,
right? Yeah. This muscle is just used when you speak, like we're doing this podcast. Right. So you can't you don't see LeBron just get on, play off and they just get on the court and just do anything. No, they have to work on the off season. They have to do a lot of different things, right? Stretch, things like that. So, I had to implement all those practices in order to be able to become vocally healthy and continuously have to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, when people say like vocal coach, right? When people hear you say that, like again, when I first met you at the Mastermind in Miami, I was like, that's a thing? Like people pay for that? 'Cause I didn't see the importance, right?
Absolutely.
And to be completely transparent. So what would you say to somebody who said like, I don't need a vocal coach, or why would I need a vocal coach, right?
Okay, so let's talk about speakers. You are, right?
Right.
So, for example, you do a mastermind, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, can we math it?
Yes, math it.
All right, let's math it.
I love it. Let's math
So
it.
let's map the voice, right? And really and truly, your voice is invaluable.
Facts.
All right, like really, no one can really afford your voice, like the value of it. But let's just math it, just for mathing. So let's say you do a mastermind, right? How much do you charge?
$25,000.
$25,000 for a mastermind, right? Let's say you were doing something like a one-day event.
Okay.
All right. And how many people would you have at the one-day event?
30 people.
30 people. And how much?
Probably about
high end.
Yeah. It'd be at least, it's a one-day event, at least 10,000. Get 30 people. That's a good thing.
Okay, so 10,000 a high end, right? With 30, how much money is that?
300,000.
That's 300,000, right? All right, cool. Let's just work with that.
Okay.
All right, so you come into a hotel room. You didn't know the hotel was moldy. You wake up, mold toxicity happens. Your voice goes, right? You got to go stand in front of 30 people that just paid you $10,000, right? That's $300,000 right there. That literally costs, but that's not all. Then you have an upsell at the end.
Yeah, because that one day to
get
them onto my program.
Why? Because amateurs make money on the front end.
Experts make money in the back end.
Boom. So if you were to upsell 30 people, let's say the conversion rate is like what? 30, 40%? Mm-hmm. And what would be the high ticket offer?
The high ticket offer would be $25,000.
$25,000. Let's say 10 people sign 100%.
23,000.
Plus 300,000. That's $500,000.
And just because I can't perform that one day and I can't get it back, and I got to issue refunds.
Yeah.
Because I can't perform.
And then not only that, then you have to deal with the emotional stress of that, because anxiety takes over. You know, all of those things take over, and so yeah, it's a mess, a financial mess, an emotional mess, a physical mess.
Right.
Oh, it completely affects you holistically.
Not to mention the bad brand equity you have with these people who promise to show.
Because your voice is your brand. At the end of the day, you think about it. Look at all the powerful voices that are out there: the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, the Neos, the ETs. Right? You don't have to see them to know their voice. Every voice here has a configuration, just like an NFT.
She's talking heavy now.
I've never seen somebody spin voice the way that.
Yeah, just like an NFT. If you look at the monkeys, right? We're just gonna say the monkeys, right? Yeah. That they all look the same in some way, but what makes them special is that they all have their own special configuration. Right. The way in which your voice box is, everyone has a special configuration in which the frequencies or the vibrations of your vocal cords actually come out. So that's where we can tell the difference between your voice, and your voice. And then of course hormonal changes and stuff like that. Right. So you need to see, as a matter of fact, I believe sooner or later the voice will also be some sort of equity or NFT out there. Let's call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to look into that.
I'm still in that. I'm gonna give you credit though.
But seriously, it's a lot more than most people don't think. When you step into the room and we go downstairs, besides the music playing, right? All you hear is voices.
Got it.
All you hear is money.
Got it. Yeah, there's a lot of people in our mastermind that make money from their voice, what they have to teach. Right. You can't teach. Because again, I thought if you were unless you were a celebrity singer, this was relevant to you only.
No.
But it sounds like it's relevant.
This is for podcasters, sports commentators, voiceover actors, actresses, red carpet correspondents, educators, politicians, lawyers, anyone that uses their voice for career advancement or to scale. Right. Okay, so people that do audiobooks. People that not just do podcasts, people that do one-day events, webinars, IG lives,
Facebook lives, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's why I tell people I am the person you never knew that you needed.
Yeah, and I think we're all just kind of at a loss for words.
Exactly.
No pun intended. But so, what's the first thing that an entrepreneur or speaker, podcaster, what's the first thing they should do to start taking care of their voice?
Well, I'll say the first thing that you do is you have to have a contingency plan. And I think lots of times people never think about the contingency plan. So that's why lots of times, especially when I'm speaking, especially to high earning entrepreneurs or high people that are into the digital market as well, I always ask them, do you have voice insurance? No one thinks about that.
No.
So for example,
I didn't even know it existed. I was like, the thing.
Until you mentioned it, I didn't know it was a thing. And it's funny because we all come from the financial advisory world. And so we tell people that they are their biggest asset. But we don't talk about their voice.
Absolutely.
Right.
What if one day you woke up, all three of you woke up and you no longer had a voice?
Crazy.
Game changer.
What's that
movie?
Can
you mime a podcast?
What's that movie? What's that movie? What's the movie where he only has so many words to speak?
Oh,
the leaves fall off the tree.
Yeah, the famous actor. Eddie Murphy. I forgot the name of the movie, but yeah.
We gotta work on that.
Yeah, absolutely. You woke up and you can no longer speak. Can you mime an IG live?
No.
Can you sign language a podcast? You're gonna have to develop a whole nother skill, right? A whole nother level. Right?
So do we need to do that? Is that the contingency plan?
That's one. That's just no. That's not the contingency plan. Is voice insurance, right? Mm-hmm. But outside of that, you need a coach. You need someone. You never see Serena Williams. You never see Steph Curry. You never see LeBron James or Michael Jordan, or you never see none of these people. Kobe, right? You never see none of these people as great as they are without coaches, on season and off season.
Right. I think that it's a mindset shift, because I think what happens is we think of coach like y'all in masterminds, right? So it's like you think of coaches like I'm getting someone to coach me on my skill set further, but if I don't have a voice, the skill set doesn't matter
at all.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of different things. So let's just kind of go down. So first thing I would say, definitely mindset shift to know that, wait a minute, no, there's equity on my voice. My voice has more than what it is. So at the end of the day, I can't just see my voice as, I just use it. No. Lots of times people are not aware of how much they use their voice in the day.
Right.
Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Negotiating calls and deals, closing deals, right? Speaking with clients. You use your voice for that all the time besides email correspondence. But how people really get to close deals with you is by having conversations with you, because vocal inflections actually builds trust. So if I can speak to you and I can hear the tones of your voice, it allows me to know if I can trust you with giving you 10K, 20K, 350K or not. That's why some people say, can I talk to them first before I do this? There's a reason for that.
Right. So let me ask you this as a quick tangent. So with what you help people with, do you help them understand? Like they might already be successful at what they do. Absolutely. They might not understand the nuance of, hey, when you do speak, do you use these inflections or these things that build trust? Or
absolutely.
Is that a part of your...
Yeah, the only time that people come to me with that is when they have no voice.
Gotcha.
And that's when they realize, whoa, right? Hold on. And so lots of times people don't pay attention if they don't pay. So sometimes if you give them free information, they're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But when something valuable goes and you realize that, it's messing with my bag.
The pain.
That's when the pain, that's when people come and say, okay, what do I do? And there is no quick fix for hoarseness. So let me just say this, because from a physiological standpoint, a lot of people have a misconception about what that is. So you have a sore throat, right?
My voice is pretty hoarse right now.
Right. The sore throat has nothing to do with hoarseness.
Okay.
Right? So a sore throat is where your throat is actually sore, it's swollen, and you may be feeling some pain like when you swallow. But hoarseness is going into the actual voice box, and your vocal cords start to become inflamed. And what happens is a lot of singers and speakers, for example, and you all have probably done it and didn't know. And I remember you reaching out to me and saying, hey, my voice. Lots of times people try to use throat remedies to fix a vocal fold issue, right? And you don't miss it. So when you're drinking water, when you're drinking tea, when you're doing a lozenge, when you're doing those things, you're like, I'm doing all of that and it's still not coming back. It's because none of those things touch your vocal cords. Now that's for another day. That's the science behind it.
Yeah. But right? Safe to say you know your stuff.
Doing it for a very, very long time. And so definitely getting a coach, voice, but you also have to learn proper vocal utilization of your voice. Right? So breathing techniques, inflections, warming up the voice, cooling down the voice after you finish speaking, right? All of those things are important. How do you handle stress? Because stress also affects the voice. All right. How do you handle emotional stress, anger, rage, guilt, all those things, anxiety, depression, they all literally can cause the voice to tense up. And so when you're feeling like, oh my God, something's wrong or it's tense, it could be because of the fact that you've been highly stressed and your anxiety is up.
Gotcha.
And that within itself can take your voice.
And so what are some physical things that we can avoid doing?
Yes.
Like we talked, drinking probably is one of the things. That's why my voice is hoarse. It's hoarse in the past and today. But like, what's some things that we can physically avoid doing? So that we don't have vocal cords?
So first things first, I will say is you definitely have to watch your diet. Okay. You sound like what you eat.
And that's a bar.
You sound like what you eat. Okay. And so there's a lot of misconceptions out there that dairy is the only thing that causes like phlegm and mucus, but it's anything that's like white processed. So processed rice, white rice, white bread, all those things actually causes something called histamine to rise in your body. Histamine is what leads to infection and inflammation. So when you're finding yourself getting hoarse all the time, it's because if you went and you had that rice, and then you did that chicken, and then you had that bread, and then you had like all the dairy with it, you are a mucus enhancing machine. too much mucus in the body is not good.
Gotcha.
It causes inflammation. So what I would say is, first things first, you want to monitor the mucus enhancing foods. So things like chicken, beef, and I'm not saying you can't have them.
Right.
Moderation is key. So if you look at your plate and everything is just mucus on there, more than likely you're going to end up waking up with some sort of inflammation, some sort of congestion, clogginess, phlegm, things like that. And then you're going to find yourself speaking harder on your voice because you think that you're clearing your throat all the time.
What's up, guys? Congratulations on joining Team Blackwell. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give you a uniform as an official player on the team. So head over to shop.melaninmoney.com and grab your official uniform for Wealth Builders of Color. We'll see y'all at practice.
Right? So things like I said, soy, corn, bread, chicken, beef, pork, salty foods, sodas, alcohol, right? Another thing is you have to watch your acid levels. All right. So the alcohol, the reason why your voice is going is because alcohol is acidic.
Gotcha.
So when it goes into your stomach already has a high pH acidity. So you're adding more to that. All right. And when you're sleeping at night, especially if you're sleeping on the right side, is not the best side to sleep on because your stomach is upside down.
Wow.
So when your stomach's upside down, that acid from the alcohol, it comes up through your esophagus and it goes right into that voice box because you're not swallowing. And so you wake up and you're like, yo, what's going on? You literally have acid pockets in your throat. So when you're feeling the soreness and the sore throat, you got to watch your alcohol level. That's what we call laryngopharyngeal reflux, right? Big word for acid. What's it? Laryngopharyngeal reflux. It's just acid reflux in the voice box. So that could be one of the reasons. Another could be the fact that you are dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water, or you're doing a lot of caffeinated things, or you're not taking care of yourself by covering up in cold weather, or, you're sleeping under vents. Allergies, sinus, all those things too. You have to be really, really mindful of that and watch over-the-counter medication and decongestants because they're dehydrating. So how do you know if you're dealing with dehydration as a speaker or a podcaster? If you're constantly clearing your throat all the time, you may just be dehydrated. It doesn't matter how much water you drink. If you're consuming a lot of caffeine, like coffee, alcohol, that's drying out the vocal cords.
And most people drink and then eat coffee in the morning.
Exactly.
And then they have
so
it's
the insult to injury.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of maladaptive behaviors.
Got you.
So quick question. You've probably seen a lot in your industry, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest horror, maybe horror is dramatic, story that you've seen where someone they had maybe an event with 30,000 people, but they just their voice was gone, right? Like what's the big where someone just finally clicked for them, yo, I gotta.
Absolutely. I'll use Justin Timberlake, for example. Justin Timberlake had to cancel an entire tour, half of his tour, because of something called vocal hemorrhaging. So when you don't utilize the folds properly and you're constantly going on the folds, you can cause blood to come into your vocal cords and cause a hemorrhage to happen. John Mayer, Maxwell, a whole bunch of people, and if you hear all rasp is not good rasp. All right. So if you hear somebody raspy all the time, that's not good. And so the horror story is, how much money he lost from that?
Can't even imagine.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And then he had to cancel a tour, so he has to pay back people, refund tickets.
Right. Money he already spent on probably marketing the tour more.
Absolutely.
Or non-refundable things he did for the tour already.
And things like that within itself can tarnish a brand.
Right.
We've seen even people, and I'm just going to use people because these are people in the public's eye.
Right.
So we've even seen people's careers at the end of their life just not be like a Whitney.
Right.
Right. Just her voice just wasn't the same. Bobby Brown or JoJo or Casey and JoJo, their voices are just not the same.
Right.
And there's a lot of speakers out there too whose voices are completely just.
Tony Robbins is
right to say I didn't, but yes. And funny enough, I think the irony of this whole thing is that it brands him.
No, I mean he's the guy with the raspy voice, and this is what it is.
It's the guy with the raspy voice, but not everyone. Let me just say this: not everyone can tolerate that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us may not be able to tolerate certain frequencies of voice. And so a lot of people like him, there are a lot of people that just cannot tune into him, not because he's not saying something that's real or that he can't really convince people. His voice is irritating.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And branding,
So, I really want you to talk to us a little bit more about the holistic health. But before we dive into that, we got a 5-star review that I'd like to share really quickly. This is from the Izzy Connect. Nourishment for the mind, body, soul, and pocket. I've been asleep. Thank you for waking me up. I am one of the keeping up with the Joneses era, so kind of late to the game, but so much information in one podcast recording. Now, this is a super, super long review, so I won't read the whole thing. But basically, they said the value in what you're sharing with the world is immeasurable. So,
thank you.
the Izzy Connect, we appreciate you. We appreciate your 5-star review. Again, they titled it "Nourishment for the Mind, Body, Soul, and Pocket."
And our voice.
And yeah, and our voice. Because you say mind, body, soul, and you came out and you're like, well, I'm not just a vocal coach, I'm a holistic.
Yeah.
So can you share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just a vocal coach. I'm a businesswoman that happens to be a vocal coach.
Because we were talking about the bag in a second. It's the Melon Money Show. We got to talk about the bag. You don't have to get a Rolex like this just doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
But I believe, I'm a believer. So I believe that God literally created natural things for us to heal ourselves. I believe that there are things that the mind can do that can heal us, right? And there's foods and things that we can do to really nourish the soul. And the one thing that people don't understand is that your voice is an empath. It's an empath. So the voice is connected to the body, the soul, the mind, and everything like that. So if any one of those things are off course, the voice gets off course completely. There's actually something called muscle tension dysphonia, right? Which is actually, dysphonia is just a fancy word saying hoarseness. It comes strictly because of muscle tension.
Wow.
Do you understand? So if you've had a bad day, lost money, something went wrong with your podcast or something like that, or just, a client, ticks you off or something like that, literally your voice box will feel it and it will automatically tighten. So when you start to feel a ring around your throat or a lump in your throat, or you just feel like just something's not right, it's because your voice is literally just adjusting to life with you. And your voice goes through life with you completely.
So that's why people say, I feel like I have a lump in my throat. Absolutely.
A lump in your throat can be a lot of things: acid reflux, dehydration, muscle tension, right? Improper use of the voice as you speak, right? It could be all of those things.
I mean, and being this is the Men on the Money Show, now we understand as a podcast and just as entrepreneurs how much money we can lose from not having a voice. So if I'm in this place like, all right, I want to take a better care of my voice, how do I know obviously outside of you, how do I know how to find a good vocal coach, and like, how much should I be willing to spend on a vocal coach?
Well, this is what I say. You spend as much as you know you're worth.
Okay.
Because lots of times the best is not always the cheapest and the cheapest is not always the best, right? And so I've seen a lot of people go to cheap people because it's cheaper. And then what happens is that person really does not have value. They don't know many things, and it makes it worse.
Right.
And so one of the things I always say to vocal coaches, you need insurance too. Because if you give somebody the wrong thing, they can end up suing you. Right? So how do you look for a vocal coach? I think you want to make sure that the vocal coach is versed. Well, first you can come to me.
Right.
Because I certify vocal coaches.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
so you have other coaches under you.
I have other coaches under me. I'm in demand. I can't teach everybody. Yeah. So I scale myself that way, where I actually train vocal coaches because there was a lack of integrity with information. And I'm like, no. Y'all going to learn my curriculum and learn to teach. So that if I have to say, Carter, I need you to go and see Carter today to do something, I can't be there because I'm with someone else. I have a coach that I know is proficient and actually equipped to come and do it for you. And you can trust them because you trust me. Right?
The systems,
it's
the business woman.
He said, look, I told you.
Systems, right? And so you want to make sure that that person knows what they're doing in vocal health and anatomy. You need to know that that person is giving you the correct techniques to do when it comes to warm-ups and cool-downs. You need to make sure the person...
some exercises?
Sure.
Just like
So I did this with Neo Davis this morning. We were getting ready for his mastermind. One of the things you could do is just get a plastic cup, like a coffee cup or something like that, or you can even get a coffee straw. Do we have coffee straws here?
I think we. No,
I don't think we.
If you don't have any coffee straws, that's okay.
I can check.
But you could get a coffee cup, a plastic cup or a paper cup. Just get a little bit of a hole on the bottom of it. All right, and when you put it in the bottom of it, what that's called is SOVT exercises. It just means occluded vocal tract. That's for you. So take it out, Carter, because you're
it's
a
stick,
horse.
but you can show it.
All right. So what you're gonna do is it's a stick, right? But you can, but that's good because it has a hole in it, correct?
No. All
right. So if it was a coffee straw, what you could do in the morning for you all, and you should do this every day.
Okay.
You could get a small coffee straw. The smaller the hole, the greater the resistance.
Okay.
So what that does is it causes air to circulate back into your voice box. It meets the air coming up through your lungs, your trachea, and it creates something called subglottal pressure that relaxes the muscles around your vocal cords so that your muscles can stretch. so that you can be the best sounding quality that you should, right? And every single person needs to make sure that your voice is at its best when you're doing these things. So all you have to do is you can actually do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can read something and just do it through the straw. That's going to actually relax the muscles. Or if you don't have a straw, you can get the cup, bore a small hole at the bottom of it, and just speak. And you can do things like sirens. So you can go, ooh. You don't have to sing it. Just, ooh. It's waking up the voice without going so hard on the voice, right? You have to stretch the muscle. You're vocal athletes.
Yes.
All right. You have to do that. You should do it when you start, and you should do it at the end of the day, but cool down.
Gotcha.
Right? Just like how you would work out and you cool down.
I love the term vocal athlete because, as you know, as men, as athletes on the podcast, we all know the importance of stretching before and after a game. We never do it for our voices, and having the show, maybe that's something we need to keep in mind.
Absolutely, because your voice will tell on you. And if you don't do it, you're going to find that you're going to be overexerting your voice for no reason. And you're wondering, why is my voice like getting tired on me? It's because you literally went hold on it. You can't do that. You won't do that on the court. Why would you do it with your voice?
What's going on, guys? I'm George.
I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Carter.
And we are your money mentors. But today we wanted to talk to you about a really special feature, Financial Flicks. Can you imagine an entire on-demand library of financial content across 3 main categories: wealth building, entrepreneurship, and personal finance, so that you can take your finances to the next level?
Guys, when you replace entertainment with education, your life will change forever. Imagine replacing 1 hour of Netflix with 1 hour of Financial Flicks. Imagine how much further that could take you to your financial destination. And we have the perfect library for you.
Yeah, so if you're ready to Financial Flicks and chill with us to put more of your energy into education, then join us in the club. We can't wait to see you there.
See you there.
I feel I'm gonna admit this. I didn't know it was maybe wrong, but I like music, and so to warm up my voice before I start talking, like on podcasting or whatever, in the mornings I'll sing. That's my thing. But it sounds like I'm going too hard because I can't sing at all, and I'm trying to hit the high note.
Right in the shower.
I would definitely not go hard like that. I think there's a misconception too. Like, you don't have to do that. That's like saying you want to go you literally get up and you just sprint.
Right.
You understand? No, you won't do that. You can end up hurting yourself more, right? And injuring yourself, and you can do a lot of damage that way. So I would just say is just kind of gently you said the shower, perfect. Put the steam on and just breathe through your nostril and just do what we call beat, the buzzing beat. And keep going all the way up and then work your way back down. So you do the buzzing beat with the Z sound as well. Gotcha. And that'll also help you all to wake your voice up and make sure that you stretch your muscle so that you can be the best sounding that you need to be, because all of you all have a branded voice. Right?
And it's so fun. I mean, you hear, but you don't think about it. I was watching something the other day. My wife was like, "Is that Denzel?" She was in the other room, but she knew his voice, right? Yeah. But you don't think about how powerful your voice, not even the voice from the impact from what you're teaching. Literally the sound.
The sound of Freeman, TD Jakes, Morgan Freeman.
Right.
All of these people have brandable voices.
Right.
And I think people don't understand that. People are not just paying just to see you, but people pay for the voice itself. Right. You know what I mean? And so for every single person on here, I don't want you to see your voice ever the same again. I want you to see your voice as, wait a minute, my voice has an actual configuration that can make me a lot of money.
I like that.
Right. Because we think about it they're hiring that person because they're a celebrity and they're well known. They're hiring that person because their voice is so distinct. And then from what I learned from you, there's a level of trust embedded in the tonality of their voice.
There's a level of trust embedded. That's why, we know someone like Coach Kelly. That's why she could do what she does. Yeah. Because she's learned how to master the psychology of the voice. She's learned how to master inflections. So when she says, "Come a little closer to me," Tabitha Brown is a perfect example. Oh, you know why Tabitha Brown is Tabitha Brown? It's not because she's beautiful and she's pretty, she's a vegan. No. It was hello there. Yeah. That is the moneymaker.
Right.
Wow. So, okay. So I like that. Now I feel like I need to alter my voice.
What way?
I love those warming tones. I feel like I have a very distinct way of communicating. They know this. But I feel like one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of us, especially getting like on social media, right? Like now video is the thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of us want to talk because we can't dance.
Yeah.
Or is that just
Speak
me?
for yourself.
I will dance. So, but I feel like confidence is what's lacking, right? So there'll be certain times you pull out your phone and you, especially as women, like talk, and then I'm like, I don't like the way my voice sounded. I'm just gonna delete it, or I'm gonna redo it because I just don't like the way my voice sounds.
Yeah.
So, what's your recommendation?
Yeah, no. So that's good, because one of the biggest complaints that I get from, it doesn't matter how long you've been speaking, there's a lot of people that deal with vocal insecurity and lack of vocal acceptance. And what we find is that a lot of people that are dealing with vocal insecurity is a lot deeper than just the voice. It's really more self-acceptance, right? We have been finding with people that deal with stage performance anxiety, stage fright. Yeah. We find a lot of people that deal with performance anxiety and stage fright also deals with anxiety itself. About 73% of people do that nationally, right? So because of that, what I would say to something like that is I would definitely get with a coach that can actually do vocal affirmations with you to learn to accept the sound of your voice. And if there's something that has like an inclination of something that we can actually direct, but you don't want to change the algorithm of your voice though.
Right.
It's still you. Yeah. Because it's still you at the end of the day. So it's really about, it's like very much so when we were listening to a speaker talk, Nick, you know, and he was saying about, I took what I had, and even though I could have seen it negatively, I turned it positively. So alter may not be the word. I would say learn to discover all the good things about your voice, and then the things that that are adjustable that would make it even better, but not take away from who you are. Then you can find a coach to work with you on that, right? Because I can give you all the methods in the world, but if you still don't believe that your voice is enough, it doesn't do anything. So it's mindset over skill set.
Wow.
First.
So another quick question, as they say, asking for a friend.
Yeah.
So to your point, it's not about changing your voice, but it's no doubt that speaking is a skill set, right? So people get on stage and like they got it, right?
Yeah.
So like, what are maybe some fundamental tips and tricks that you can like share with us, like, because you've seen so many great speakers, like things where like they're able to do it's just like, man, they're captivating the audience, they're bringing them in. Like, what are some things that people can do who love their voice but are looking to better refine? Maybe that's
so diction definitely defines like resonation, right? So we want to make sure that you're still working on practicing your diction, working on making sure that you still practice of how to speak in front of a camera. Like never not stop learning.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like if you play ball and forever, you'll get back on the court and just, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You gotta okay, that makes sense.
You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't see the value in it, you're not gonna do anything.
Right.
And I think lots of times, the only time that not the only time, but most times when people finally find the value is when it matters most in a situation where there's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
We like to operate out of a place of crisis, like everybody does. Like something happens and you're like, oh,
now I need to
now
so
I need
before that happens, can you give us the math of, I was gonna say life insurance, but vocal insurance? Is that what it's called technically?
So some people will say disability, some people will say certain things, but look at it this way: J-Lo,
love her.
She insured her butt.
Did she?
You can shoot.
I didn't know.
James Harden shoot his beard.
He did?
Yeah. So
absolutely.
James shoot his beard.
Tina Turner, she insured her legs. Cher insured her legs. Model insured his voice. Whatever the moneymaker is for you that brands you, it is absolutely imperative that you insure it. And so when it comes to that, most people would say disability, but really it's partial body insurance, but it's probably one of the greatest assets. I've heard somebody say that the greatest asset is your mind. I don't disagree with it. I will just continue it further and say the greatest assets are your mind and your voice.
You can't project what's in your mind if you can't
speak it out. I mean, you can write it out, of course.
So probably like own occupation rider, like on disability insurance.
Absolutely.
So it's a rider like on the disability.
Yes, but you have to be able to do it through someone that specializes in speakers, entertainment.
Got it.
Right. So it has to be it's a specialty.
Okay.
So that's you.
Right, exactly. So I go through a broker, but then I'm the agent, and you come through me, and then my team does everything for you.
Got it.
Okay.
And because I'm a trusted individual, and I'm a trusted coach, then it's like Ashaala got me. good.
Vertical
So
and talk about vertical integration.
Yeah,
I see what
saying,
you got going.
it's
For
like
sure.
the financial
For
industry, like your financial advisor also
Right.
finds you an accountant, the insurance, the real estate agent. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So like, yeah, I have influencer clients. Now I'm like, oh, we gotta add this to the list. So
Right.
I know kind of what the cost of disability is, and it for those watching it, I mean, it varies on your income, you know, what you're making, all that. So what is that? You know,
So
that
for on the
rider
low
kind of
end, for me, if my team is going to come and do it with you, on the low end for one individual, just for coverage for a year, where we're able to do the policy for you, brokerage, everything like that, it starts at 10K.
Okay.
All right.
And that's per year for insurance?
That's per year per individual, and it's a la carte, right? It starts at 10K, but it depends on what the policy is, because I have some clients that may not need a $2 million policy. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to just my services, it starts at 10K. And then we just kind of see what are the needs and how much we need to put on your voice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it depends on where you are, exactly. Because if you're ET who's charging $50,000 to $75,000 per speaker, or Myron Golden, or somebody, or a Tony Robbins, their insurance is going to be a lot more, which means that the cost is going to be a little bit more.
Wait, I want to get really granular. So normally there's a waiting period, like 30, 60, 90 days.
Absolutely.
How long?
I would say you have to give me 30 days, because we have to just make sure that we go through the whole entire thing. And then my team actually does it for you. So because of that, we have to go through a process. So we start with a 2-week process first. We get all the information that we need, get with my broker, and we take it from there. So I normally tell people to do that.
No. So I mean, not to get the policy in that. I mean, like the actual policy itself.
Right.
So like, say I lost, is that what you're talking about? Say I lost my voice for 90 days. Like my policy would kick in at 90 days.
What's going on, guys? My name is George Acheampong.
I'm Jacqueline Shattuck.
And I'm Carter Cofield.
And we are the founders of Melanin Money. And the reason why we started Melanin Money is because we know that there's a great disparity when it comes to building wealth among people of color. We have a tremendous mission that we want you guys to join, right? Every single year, we want to help at least 1,000 people improve their net worth by $100,000, which will create $100 million of new Black wealth every single year.
Can you imagine $100 million of new Black wealth every year? As it stands right now, for every $1 that a white family has, a Black family has a mere 10 cents to match that dollar. We want to increase the wealth in the Black community so that we can have equal opportunities.
Simply put, we're about closing the wealth gap, and it starts with you.
So, see you inside.
Well, so if you lost your voice for 90 days?
Like, I guess, how does the policy work? Where like, I have this event,
the mechanics of it,
and it doesn't. I can't speak at it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my policy is in place with that. They give me the money back I recoup from not being able to do that.
Right. Well, of course. So it would be up to 60 days, because at the end of the day, we have to just make sure, like, because you know, fraud. You see what I'm saying? So we still have to make sure it's legit. You know what I mean? Because then anybody could be claiming I lost my voice. You know,
I can't speak.
I can't speak and different things like that. So it's up to 60 days, right?
Okay.
It could be even sooner, but it really depends on the severity of the situation and where.
That 60, like I can't imagine losing my voice for 60 days.
No, but it happens.
So that's really scary to me.
No. The average person that deals with vocal nodules and hemorrhaging can lose their voice up to 6 months. That's the consequence of not being able to take care of the voice.
Which is why you got to be proactive.
Not only that, but a lot of people try to do quick fixes by going to doctors and having surgery. Surgery is only a corrective measure. It's not a preventative measure. So you can go get surgery, but if you still don't fix the behavior, it'll come back again. And then people don't ever think about the recovery after surgery.
Right.
So you have some people that have had real severe damage to their folds, and they don't go back into speaking or singing until 4 to 6 months after. So normally what we do is we assess it and see, okay, what is the severity of it, and try our best, but we still have to make sure that we dot every I and cross every T.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't, because of fraud situations.
Yes.
Right? And just making sure we go through the necessary steps to just make sure that all of the clients that we have, that we're able to make sure that we can serve them quickly, especially if you're a high-performing speaker or singer, but at the same time, too, they have to understand the integrity of it as well. Do you understand?
Makes perfect sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You told us about your biggest crisis story.
Yeah.
That you saw with celebrities. What about your biggest success story?
Yeah. Man, I have a lot of them.
we know
I think one of the highlights for me is when I had a chance to work with Patti LaBelle. I think, I worked with her in the Grammys last year, and I think that was really cool because she's an icon. And and then, of course, my godmother was the legendary Betty Wright. who was the first millionaire artist on her own label to go gold. And I traveled with her for 17 years and was able to learn a lot about the industry. And then, of course, now I think one of the biggest things is working with people like Neo now and stuff like that.
Literally helping him.
And literally like walking and helping him and everything like that.
Oh, we're dropping that affiliate link below, by the way.
But yeah, like I think Patty was a big highlight for me. And just doing Grammys, I think that was a big highlight for me in the music world. I've worked with a lot of high end speakers, especially pastors. So Darius Daniels is one of my clients. Neo is one of my clients. So but I would say Patty for now, and Queen Latifah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of highlights.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a lot. So you said something about you said the word millionaire. So it just brought me to one of the questions that I want to make sure we ask you. So my final question that we ask all guests. I know you personally. I know you're going to be doing at least 6 figures a month every month this year, which will make you a melanin millionaire, right? So my question is, what does being a melanin millionaire mean to you?
Being a melanin millionaire means to me, first and foremost, one of the things I want to do is retire my mom. That's my why, because I am single. I don't have any children as of yet. So retiring my mom. I really also, too, I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. Well, first billionaire, too.
Oh, hey! Black British billionaire. Somebody give me a shirt. Somebody give us a Black British billionaire.
I've been a multiple 6-figure earner for years. You know what I mean? And I'm bored of making 6 figures.
You said that earlier.
So I said it earlier on stage, right? So because of that, for me, it means creating a whole new narrative for my family.
Yeah.
Right? My mother, all I've seen her do is work. She's a baby boomer, so they don't know anything. Entrepreneurship is a curse word. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, for her to see that, wait a minute, this thing works. Like my daughter's doing this, it really works. And I think also to people like myself and creatives, because I really have this thing for creatives. I'm tired of seeing the feast and famine cycle with creatives, of being starving creatives. And so I want to change the narrative of that too, that we can be creative and we can be
one of a bag at the same time.
and right in the bag at the same time. And just leaving a legacy. I think this is legacy for me. The fact that I get a chance to sit with you all and have an imprint right here on this or the podcast is legacy for me. So I think, and then also giving back, because I'm really big on philanthropy work. And so I help orphans in Haiti, and I want to be able to literally fund them for the rest of their lives until they're 18 and they're able to do whatever they want to. I do it now, but I want to be able to do all the children that do that. So it's a lot that it means to me. Giving back.
Thank you for sharing.
I love that. And it's so interesting that you say, I'm just intrigued by that, because you're saying that, Betty is family, and you do all that traveling. And so it's kind of looking at the full generational wealth picture. Was money a conversation going
Money
up?
was never, the only conversation that money was you had to go to college, get a 4-year degree, go work for somebody. I was never taught financial literacy. So I made a lot of mistakes in business. I lost a lot of money in business because so that's why mentorship is so important for me. And I think it also means for me getting more mentorship.
Absolutely.
Just sitting at the feet of people and learning. I love to learn. But I was never taught financial literacy. So money was never a conversation in my family. And it still isn't.
It can change with you.
It has to change.
What's the quote? Poverty ran into my family until it ran into me.
Until it ran into me.
You know what I'm saying? Get away from here.
So for the entrepreneurs who are listening, we know you certify vocal coaches. So can you tell us what's the process like to get certified, and what can they kind of expect to make, ballpark?
Absolutely. So it's a 3 phases. The first one is DIY, do it yourself. So they actually go on a course. They can sign up for that. They have 90 days to do phase 1. All right. And after they do that, then they go through phase 2. And this is where I have my master instructors that are under me that actually teach those courses. That's a 6-month course. And then the phase 3 is when you become a master instructor. That's another 6 months, because it's literally taken about 4 years of information and putting it into a year and a half. Right. And so it's intense. It's intense. And then after that, I also invite them to join my inner circle so that they can actually walk closely with me for a year. Right? Because even though they're doing the phases, they don't get all access to me. But if they do my inner circle, they get all access to me while still getting certification. So it's like a win-win for them.
So roughly, this is new information to me. So roughly, what can they expect to make coming out of the program?
Coming out of it, if they work it, and because I also teach the business of vocal coaching.
Right.
So it's not just about, hey, do this with clients, but I also teach
Here was
them.
your hourly rate.
Yeah. No. I teach them how to become their own bosses, how to build curriculums, develop them, and then how to price and everything like that. They can make clearly up to $10,000, $20,000 a month. And if they learn HTO, like high ticket offers, they can make sky's the limit.
Yeah, I love that.
And I do have I have 30 right now in my inner circle. I have about 20 coaches outside of that are under me and certified. Nice. And 10 of them right now are in my inner circle of the 20 that got certified. So, and teach for me.
Now do that math. Y'all see, it could be a very profitable business. That math is mathing right there.
It's that new real sound. And
there's a misconception that vocal coaches are just this menial. No.
And it's needed. So you're now the Airbnb tour of vocal.
Come on, I like that. I receive that. That's what it is.
But yeah, I think that's you gave us a great perspective shift. The celebrity vocal coach, Mr. Shady. I just want to personally thank you.
Oh, thank you.
For coming onto the podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. And other than that, I think we can wrap, yo.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Peace.
you.
Peace.